Congratulations, Ravi. It's great to have you at India Startup Festival. Cybersecurity training for various schools and corporates. He does a lot of kids training, online training programs on cybersecurity. He started the Bug Bounty. The first day when we met him, we were amazed to see the josh at which he is working towards his first startup. Wonderful, Joshua, God bless. And nothing can be better than you being blessed by Swamiji today. So the Lagan team and the extended Lagan team is going to work along with Joshua to make him successful and to make this entity of his a great unicorn. Can we have a round of applause for Joshua? He deserves that. At that age, he surely deserves. Wonderful. That's the spirit of India Startup Festival. I thank you all. I thank Swamiji, I thank Jay sir, I thank all delegates, dignitaries who supported us to make this festival a great success. I'm sure it is going to be a great success. Was fortunate enough to get some time from Swamiji and to understand his aspiration, his thought to take this festival to the next level. Welcome all, and we will all make this festival a great festival so that we can cherish it month on month, year on year as we have the next editions. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Raja. So you have just now witnessed what is the power of India. How many more startups, how many more unicorns are going to create wealth and jobs for this great nation. So that is one of the reasons why we want to celebrate this like our Dasara festival or Diwali festival. This is bigger than those festivals because this is what is required for this great nation. In this country with 1.3 billion population, if the job creation engine stops, what will happen? Everywhere there will be dharnas and whatever is happening to our neighboring countries, it will be worse than our neighboring countries' situation because of the population density is so big problem for the country. As long as the job creation engine keeps moving, that one, unfortunately today, because of the automation, the lot of jobs getting vaporized. But how do our people, youngsters, can look for a job? That's where it's again grace of the God that India got into this startup mode, got into this creating the new products, new innovations. That's where a lot of friends from venture capitalists, they are helping them, mentoring them, funding them. Big round of applause to all the investors who are really helping these startup companies to become great unicorns, unicorns, and junicorns. Without their help, without their mentoring, it's impossible for these companies to really survive in the global competition. So, like all the startup companies, here we have, I present one more startup company. It is less than the unicorn. Our ISF 22 is even less than, one step less than the unicorn, which Swamiji just now felicitated. Why I am telling you this is a startup company below early stage. When Swamiji directed me, why not we have an event like this about, I think, less than 2 months' time. Afterwards, I was just figuring out how I can make it possible. Less than 40 days, whatever we could bring this event to this level, we were not having any rupee in the bank, no organization. We are not the industry association like CIA, NASCOM, FICCI and all that. We are all people from the industry, entrepreneurs. They are all busy people. Then I thought, how we are going to make this big event? We have got only 40 days because it is given the date. Gandhi Jayanti is happening, and he believed in the rural economy, rural empowerment. Can we make this startup event happening in Mudanhalli in our campus? So with the grace of God, with the grace of blessings from Swamiji, we were able to put together whatever resources we have, and we are able to bring it to this stage. My only request to all of you, because we are a pre-early stage startup, there are a lot of, like any other startup, we also a lot of issues. I mean, organizing this event and bringing the finances to take care of the infrastructure. I told all our CEOs who are my part of the Lagan team, since Swamiji is already doing a lot of work, everything is free here, whether it's a hospital, free healthcare, free education, free nutritious food to many millions of poor children. So we should not burden this institution even with 1 rupee expenditure. So we should manage without doing any kind of this thing. But fortunately, thanks to my Lagan team, we were able to get to some level. I don't say that we are really at Series A funding level. We are still pre-Series A startup. Definitely, we are going to be the unicorn one day. So with this, I want to tell you the main reason why I wanted to bring this conference here. This is a small story. So with the permission of Swamiji, one of the volunteers of this great institution, Mr. Satya, he met me in Hyderabad about 4 or 5 months back. He came to me, sir, I came to know about you, and why don't you come and address our students in our Satya Sai University? My experience going to many universities was not that positive. I was very reluctant, though he requested me. I said, okay, we'll certainly come one day, but I was not keen to go there. Then after a few months, when I came to Bangalore, there was an event here. Again, he came to know about that. This time he brought his vice chancellor also along with him. Then again, he made the request, sir, our vice chancellor also is here, and our university is very close to the place where you are living, from Yelahanka, just about 45 minutes drive. Why don't you spend few hours? So me and Dinanath said, we have a lot of meetings, just maybe 1.5 hours, maximum 2 hours. We cannot give more than that. That too, in a very reluctant way, I gave the promise to them. Next day morning, Satya appeared in front of my guest house where I'm staying in Yelahanka, and we started moving to this place, Mudanhalli. On the way, somewhere in the middle, I don't remember which village, I saw a couple of vans and a lot of people wearing white uniform, and they were all serving food. Then I asked Satya, what is happening? No, sir, they're all our Satya Sai volunteers. They all come from different industries, and they're dedicating time. And I asked them, what is that they are doing? Sir, they're serving the nutritious breakfast to all the children. And in and around Bangalore itself, more than 5 lakhs children, every day they go and feed nutritious food. That is my first experience with Mudanhalli, before even I came to this institution. Then we came to this institution. I think Satya has got good management strategy. Instead of me addressing the students or faculty members of the university, he said, sir, why don't I take you around our campus? I said, yes, but I still mentioned to him, we have a lot of meetings, we have to go 2 hours maximum, we cannot spend more than that. No, we'll quickly complete. Then he took us to the hospital. When I visited the hospital, there were more than a 1 kilometer this thing queue was there. I said, why so many people? Sir, here everything we provide free of cost. All these nearby villages, including medicines, food, everything is free of cost. And when we entered the hospital, there is no cash counter. There is no concept of cash counter there. Then when we went to some of the hospital labs and the operation theaters, some of the best facilities. And I met some of the surgeons, cardiovascular surgeons and other surgeons there, some of the top medical surgeons and doctors. This kind of high quality healthcare is happening here in this city. There is a second miracle I got encountered in this great land. Then afterwards, he took me to the real place where I'm supposed to address. Instead of addressing the students, then there were a couple of faculty members, and they were telling that from LKG to PhD, everything is free. That too, suppose somebody is joining, some application comes, they go and do the due diligence. What kind of family, whether they are really poor or they are creating a fake record of like ration cards and all that, white cards and all that. A lot of people, they fake. So they do lot of, they spend a lot of time, they go and check they are orphans or that kind of a poor family, they check all those things. Then only they bring them to this campus and give everything free of cost, and they are turning those students. You must have already noticed many volunteers who accompanied you, the kind of discipline, the kind of values what they have. I think hats off to this institution, creating ordinary people into extraordinary professionals, extraordinary students, and they are going to change this world. I keep telling 80-20 formula is there everywhere. This 20% of this kind of students with a lot of values, lot of what we have, the real culture, and definitely I am very positive that they will transform this nation, and that is kind of a fundamental reforms are happening in this campus. Afterwards, we wanted to leave. Then Satya said, sir, if you have some more time, Swamiji is in the campus, can you come and meet? Okay, anyway, we are here, but again we reminded him, we have a lot of meetings where to go. Then we went to Swamiji's mandir, and we thought it's going to be just 2-3 minutes, maximum 5 minutes. There I was really stunned, the vision of Swamiji. What he said, today what is happening in the villages, suppose somebody is getting into terminal diseases like cancer or heart attack or any of those things. What is happening is they take their patient to nearby cities, and by the time he comes out of that hospital, patient may be okay, but all the relatives becomes beggars because they take loans, they sell all their properties and all that this thing, because the corporate hospital, they got their own way of making money. They don't say whether it's a poor patient or rich patient. There is no such this thing. For them, every quarter and quarter revenues have to go up. With the result, what is happening, I have seen myself in my own village, many farmers with 50 acres land, they are forced to sell, and on top of that they have taken loans and literally have become beggars. Swamiji said, I can't fight with the corporate hospital, I can't go and tell the government. In my own way, I am trying to find a solution. I asked Swamiji, what is the solution, Swamiji? I want to set up every district one free hospital like this, and also one educational institution where they get everything. So education, good quality education, good health care at no cost. Then automatically the rural India will be uplifted. They will all become really with good health and good education. Otherwise, the urban and rural divide is already divided. A lot of people are migrating to urban cities and all that, and cities are becoming more problematic today. So, again, Gandhiji's concept, unless you empower, unless you take care of the rural India, where 70% of the population still living, if you don't address that, there's no point in talking all big bhashans and all that. That has to be done. That's what Swamiji said. Then I asked Swamiji, where are you getting the money? My bank balance is always negative, Swamiji said. Then how it is happening? It's all happening. God is just making it happen. Then I thought, what is that we people are doing? We cannot set up these hospitals. We can't set up this free education. At least little bit. In Telugu they call Urta Bhakti. Little bit whatever we can, this thing, because I keep telling everybody, every drop of rain creates an ocean. If you think I cannot do this, there's no such thing. Only thing is, people are not connected to this cause. Many people, many millions of people in Bangalore city itself, they have not come here. Even myself, though I keep visiting Bangalore a number of times, I was not knowing about Mudanalli, I was not knowing about what this great institution is doing, helping, taking care of the poorest of the poor people, because I got connected after coming here, though I was reluctant to come here. So unless people come here, see what's happening, then everybody, because we're all, after all, human beings, because in our day-to-day, we have our own businesses, our own families, our own this thing. So, not that we don't have intention to support the society, but there is no platform, and we do not know where to give our time or money and all that. That is the big. So, what I thought, can I bring these people to connect them to the cause. Then I coined like B2B, B2C, I coined new jargon. IT people, they're all very well about the jargons. Every 6 months new jargons will be coming. So I invented a new jargon called connect them to a cause. Bring them to this cause. Once they come and see, they will get connected. They will definitely try their best how they can help the cause, how they can strengthen the hands of Swamiji. Not just one hospital, maybe thousands of hospitals, such free hospitals, not only in India, even outside also. I mean, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. So we believe that whole world is one family. So not just in India, I mean every country. In fact, Swamiji last month itself they opened a free hospital in Sri Lanka. Before that, in Fiji they opened one hospital. In Nigeria they opened one free. So he believes that if everybody is happy, whole world will be happy. Then everybody will be in a peace of. Otherwise, we'll be keep on fighting and all that. That is his concept. So for that, we need to strengthen people like our Pujya Swamiji. That's one of the reasons why I thought, how do I bring corporate people? The moment I say that there is a charity and you have to come and give money, I don't think many people may not be willing to come to a place called Mudanhalli. Then I thought, how do I get them? What is the carrot? I thought, okay, let's have a professional conference, the networking conference. What is the important thing today happening is a startup. If I bring the startup companies, if I bring the investors, if I bring educational R&D people and CEOs of large companies, they will all network. I believe that networking is a net worth. See, they may have great idea. Some investor may fund that idea. But if he doesn't know how to sell the product or service to the customers, that happens through networking. So I thought that why don't we create a great networking platform in this Mudanhalli and bring all these people together. This is not a conference where people will give bhashans and keep listening. Afterwards you forget what the CEO or whatever the keynote speaker is. So here the great opportunity for venture capitalists, even for the startup companies, even for other CEOs of large organizations, education institutions, network with each other, see what we can, where we can gain and all that. So with this idea, we thought of creating an app, a meeting app. Now I request my second opening batsman, Dinanath, to talk about what is this meeting app, how this meeting app is going to help all the delegates, venture capitalists, startup companies to meet somebody to fix the whatever the schedule before they leave from this place. And I'll also request Madam Revati Madam, sorry, I'm 67 years old. God's formula is, see, wear and tear will happen. So wear and tear is happening here. Wear and tear will be happening in my body also. So before that full wear and tear happens, I want to do something. So some wear and tear is happening. That's why though I met her several times, see, I forgot about her name. So I request Revati Madam to launch the meeting app. I request Dinanath to help and other volunteers to help. Dinanath, come running. Where are you? Come. He is my second opening batsman. He is also a serial entrepreneur. I request all of you to network. Don't leave any CEOs of these companies or venture capitalists, bug them and make sure that you get your time. So make sure that you have enough time with those entrepreneurs. Thank you, madam. Now the most important thing, as I was mentioning about C2C, connect to the cause. We have a logo for C2C. I request Pujya Swamiji to launch the logo. Dina? C2C launch logo. So as I mentioned, we are a startup company, a lot of bugs are there. Still, we are not really, so pardon me with that. So in any case, while C2C logo launch is happening, as a part of the C2C, we thought one way is your corporates will bring your CSR money. Maybe your employees may come here and spend with your families and see what you can help the needy people here. So Swamiji gave a great idea. Why not we create a 1 rupee app so that every person, for example, in our country, there are 800 million smartphones. Even beggars also, they got smartphones. So every day, suppose you download that 1 rupee app, every day it pops up in your phone, just tick that 1 rupee. That 1 rupee goes for benefiting one poor patient in the hospital or a poor student in the college or school and all that, this thing. So if everybody does that, in India itself, there is a potential that 800 million rupees every day will come to for a cause. That's one. The other one is, some of the rich people like all of you, instead of 1 rupee, probably you can say, no, the cause is very big. Why not I give 100 rupees? Why not I give 1,000 rupees? Depending on what you want to donate for a cause. The moment you send that 1 rupee, immediately you get a receipt that you are out of this 1 rupee, 20 paisa is going for helping a patient in the hospital. 20 paisa is going for helping a student for a nutritious food. 20 paisa is going for a college student for his whatever the books and all that. Like that you get a receipt, a thanking receipt. So we are also thinking about, because Swamiji has got a lot of disciples in North America, Europe, Australia and all that. We are planning to launch a similar 1 rupee app, similar to that $1 app and €1 app. So now I request Dinanath to help Swamiji launching this 1 rupee app. This is one of the most important thing. The product of ISF startup company. This is let me tell you, this is the product of ISF startup company, and this product is going to help creating a large number of people get involved. Now I request Dinanath to explain what is the 1 rupee app and how you can download, and afterwards Swamiji will be launching this 1 rupee app. Dinanath, please go ahead.
Thank you, Jay. So in the divine presence of Sadhguru Sri Madhusudan Sai, and in the inspiring presence of one of the key architects of the tech industry in India, Sri Jay Chaudhary sir, and fortunate to be in the proximity of eminent educationalist Sri B.N. Narasimhamurthy, all the other dignitaries on the stage, ladies and gentlemen. So I stand here to introduce the 1 rupee app. And I want to do that with not much of a sense of a creator's pride, for 3 reasons. Number one, as Jay just explained, it's been just 2 months since we made our first visit here. And I've learned a lot of things. And I have come many times. I lost count now, so this probably is the 6th or 7th time. And I learn something new, every one new thing. And one of the things I heard from Mr. B.N. Narasimhamurthy is that the best thing that one can serve with or find oneself is lose yourself in yourself. So that's the first reason I would like to do this with not as much of a sense of a creator's pride, but as a fellow Indian who wants to share the happiness of something that is very big happening, probably a very historic event in our era. The second reason I also realized in the 2 months, Swamiji, it's not me and my team that is creating the app, it is you. You are the creator, because tech is a very small thing Yes, it appears very big, it gets a lots of press, but what makes the tech really achieve the true purpose of that tech is something that is much, much bigger, and that only Swamiji you can do. We are only here to help. And the third is not my app, it's actually your app. And that brings me to the tagline of the app. And Swamiji coined this phrase, building Bharat, 1 rupee a day. And I think that's a loaded statement. I think we need to spend a couple of minutes to understand. So with your permission, Swamiji, and with your permission, Jay, I'll talk less about app. I'll talk more about its purpose. Bharat is being built for thousands of years now. In fact, we have lost count of how ancient is our civilization. We are the oldest surviving civilization on this earth. So Bharat didn't just happen overnight. It's being built. And it's built big and small. Of course, it's built big, with all our ancestors who did big things. And in the recent times, the likes of Gandhiji, who won us the political freedom, and the great engineer story that we have been hearing, and I consider that is my second, biggest calling for this place as a birthplace of Mokshagundam Visvesvaraya. They built big things. And Swamiji is building big things with these many hospitals, and it's fascinating the scale and the quality of things that actually take place here. And if you separate the wheat from chaff, you will actually understand that this place, and I'm sure Swamiji, much like this place, every other place in the system here, they have much, much higher standing than us, what we have as corporate standards. So, with that as a background, how does everyone take part in building Bharat? So we may not be able to build Bharat big, but can we build small? And that takes me to the reintroduction of our old stories that Swamiji told us to me and Jay in the very first meeting, of this little practice that happens in every household of traditional Indian families. Every time a mother or grandmother cooks, she takes a fistful of rice and puts it in a separate pot. Now, what's the value of a fistful of rice? On that day, for that family, it is nothing. But a day comes when someone who is in need shows up, and that's a life-changing activity or event for that person. You take a pot full of rice, hand off to that person, wherein there might have been a 20-30 days of rice there in that pot. And there might be an occasion in the community, and that becomes that family's contribution. So in a very small way, in our tradition, people have been contributing to the society. They have been contributing to building Bharat. So building Bharat just doesn't happen in big milestones. It happens every single day with every single person contributing to it. So what's the smallest thing that we can contribute? What if somebody put in 1 rupee a day? And that is not so much the money that builds Bharat. It is the spirit of giving that gets into the process. It is that clarity in the head that, look, I can do something. I think a lot of times we step back from doing anything, not because we are not capable of doing or not because we don't have resources, but we believe that what we have is not going to make much of a difference. So if 1 rupee can make a difference, if a fistful of rice can make a difference, that can really be a big change in the world. Now, we thought about it. That changed something very deep in me and my team, and we said we'll build this. Of course, we happen to be in the industry, we happen to know how to do these things, so we got the tech done. The remaining needs to be done now. And for that, we are actually launching the app, and I'll tell a little bit about what you can do to start contributing. This is a collective launch, right, Jay? We're all launching?
Yeah, yes. So this launch, I suggested, Dina, instead of requesting only Swamiji to launch, it's an inclusive launch. I request all of you to download this app. It's available both on Android and iOS. It's called 1 rupee app. What is it called on the
1 rupee app?
1 rupee app.
And
please download. It's an inclusive launch. All of you, along with Pujya Swamiji, you'll all be launching that 1 rupee app together, because we need a team, team together to make this happen.
Yeah.
I request all of you to download.
And thanks to technology, you can scan that code right from where you're sitting. Those will be flashed on the screen and download. And while you're downloading, let me tell you a little bit about what all you can do. Now, where tech makes a difference is to bring those people who are stepping behind, thinking that there's not much I can do. They can actually do. They can download this, and also a reason why it is not free. There is a saying in tech, either you buy a product or you are the product. So if all the free apps that are available, unknowingly, we happen to be the product that those companies sell. So here, there's an app with a difference. You can actually download the app and contribute 1 rupee a day. I mean, you can do that in monthly installments and yearly installments, whatever you wish. And that gets you into a whole range of communities. So at the end of the day, everyone who is a user of the app is also a builder of the community. And they're paying 1 rupee a day. And they have access to hundreds and hundreds of communities. Let me tell you one other story here that we have been discussing during the development of this app. What if there is a creator in a developed economy doing something of an art and putting it on the YouTube, getting a whole lot of likes? How different is that from a little girl in a village in India doing a similar art but not being seen by anybody? This is a platform to bring them there. You all can build these communities. You all can be part of these communities. And that is the Build Bharat 1 rupee a day. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Raja. Now I request all of you to download. How many people have downloaded the app? Not many. Please download. This is the most important thing why I invited all of you. The conference is only bahana. Connect to the cause is the real reason why I requested all of you to be here. Please download the app. Now, along with Pujya Swamiji, we'll all be launching this app. It's an inclusive launch. Soon after the launch, I request Suchetan and team to play the video about the 1 rupee app. Are you all ready? Are you all ready? Yes. Countdown starts. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Now I request
in our culture
to play
serve
the video.
Those in greater need. Since early times, every day, an Indian mother would naturally keep aside a fistful of rice to later be given to others who may need it more. The 1 rupee app is the digital equivalent of that very action of compassion and charity. By becoming a subscriber, every day, 1 rupee from your nominated account will be directed towards meeting a child's nutritional, educational, or healthcare needs. With 1 rupee, you can support the daily serving of nutritional breakfasts to school-going children at no cost, the running of free schools and higher education institutions for thousands of rural children, the operation of multiple super specialty hospitals with no billing counters. With just 1 rupee a day, you can help make education, healthcare, and nutrition accessible to all. Not only that, you can also create and join online communities of like-minded people with shared ideas and interests. Unlock milestone achievements and get rewarded with vouchers and coupons simply by using the app every day. Be a part of the 1 rupee revolution and let's build our Bharat together, 1 rupee a day.
Thank you. Now I also request organizers to show the video on C2C, connect to the cause. Please play the video. Thank you. So this is the reason why we are organizing this conference. The Startup Festival is a platform, but I request all of you to get connected to a social cause. Our Swamiji always keeps telling, valuation no doubt is required, but value-driven valuations. Again, I want to repeat. Value-driven, value-based, value-rich valuations which are required for the startups. Don't just go around the eyeballs and all the valuations, whatever happened in the dot-com bust and all that. So India, we have a different culture. So whatever startup you are thinking, think about the value, ultimately what you want to give to the society. It should be value-driven valuation. With this, I once again thank all of you for gracing this great Startup India Festival. I really want to thank once again the captains of the industry, venture capitalists, CEOs, and all the startups who are able to come in spite of the shortest possible time, in spite of having this in a small village, in spite of not having any hotels nearby. In spite of all these problems, you have come here and attending this conference. That means you are connected to the cause already. Thank you so much. Now I request Bona to take over.
Thank you, sir, and thank you, everyone. May we now invite Shri S. Sivakumar, CEO, Agri and IT Businesses of ITC, to address this esteemed gathering. In fact, the eChaupal initiative of ITC was developed and executed under his able leadership. Shri Sivakumar.
Namaste, Swamiji. Namaste, everyone. So it's a great privilege for me to be addressing all of you today. Looking at what we have just seen of connect to the cause, and what is that cause is building Bharat together. And what are we trying to connect in this festival? You know, we all know India has a near-term aspiration of $5 trillion GDP. 5 trillion may be big, but given the number of people we are, our per capita incomes will be too small. So by 2047, when India at 100, the aspiration is to get to about $40 trillion so that we have a meaningful per capita income. Now, that's the Bharat we are all aspiring for. Potential was always there. But what connects the potential to aspiration is the belief that we can make it a reality. Now, after that, we need three more things. Once we have an aspiration, from where we are, $3 trillion to 5 and then to 40, is not a linear progress. It's a non-linear movement to get there within the next 25 years. The only thing which can get us there is innovation. And that's where startups play a very crucial role. And that drive and action is first of those three steps. The second is that the larger ecosystem in which startups are a part of. Idea is there, but to take idea to what we have seen, the unicorn and bigger kind of a world, you also need investment, you need incubation, you need mentorship, you need go-to-market connects, and a whole host of elements in the ecosystem. And that kind of an ecosystem is what ISF is trying to bring together and what has brought us together here. And that's the second step in terms of how do you put the ecosystem together. But once that is also there, the most crucial thing to my mind is an ignition. Now, for this non-linear kind of a growth, and that ignition comes out of a real connect that I see happening today. There are two biggest motivators in the world. One is the self-interest, and second is the selfless service. I think what we are attempting here today is the connect between that self-interest and selfless service, and that ignition is provided by Swamiji. And the call for action for all of us, whether we are part of the startup ecosystem in our own self-interest, or whether contribute to the cause by taking something out of it in this selfless service, I think we are part of building that Bharat together. And so that's the urge that I have of all of you, that let's participate in building Bharat together towards that 2047. Thank you very much for this opportunity and wish you the very best.
Thank you, sir. We would now like to extend our love and gratitude to Shri Sivakumar for coming here this morning and gracing this wonderful occasion. A big round of applause for Mr. Sivakumar. May we now invite the next speaker, who was just here a couple of months ago when we had organized the National Conference on making higher education accessible and available, and spoke so passionately about social entrepreneurship, a platform to create young change makers. Shri Madan Padki, founder and CEO, OneBridge, and president of TiE Bangalore, may we kindly request you to address all of us.
Thank you. Elrigu namaskara. Very good morning, and delighted to be here, soaking in the wonderful energy of this place. Thank you for having me here again. I was just thinking to what Jay Garu said about the attraction and the Trojan horse that he created in the form of a Indian startup festival, but really the idea is to connect to cause and figure out how we can really build the Bharat that we all envision. I have a few thoughts that I just wanted to share quickly. One is that all of us are here in this place filled with such positive energy. I would urge each of us to kind of reflect and find our own purpose. I had the opportunity to do this about 7 years ago at another pilgrimage place, which is Sabarmati Ashram. I was there spending 7 days at the ashram, where I really looked inwards to figure out if Gandhiji was alive today, what would the message be to all of us? And in doing so, I did find my purpose, and it is with joy that I have learned how to live my purpose every day. So my request, connecting to cause is fantastic, and if you can do that by realizing your own inner purpose, life will be even more joyful. And even at TiE Bangalore, we've realized that it's not about external journeys, it's about inner journeys. It's about what do you do to connect your inner self, and how do you then program that to take life and to create a unicorn. And in my view, a unicorn is just not $1 billion in valuation. A unicorn is about putting 1 billion smiles out there, right? How can we create enterprises and entrepreneurs who can create 1 billion smiles out there? And that makes us live our purpose. The second part that I want to talk about is also, when you connect to a cause, the second C that is important is connect to collaborate. As that supposedly African saying goes, if you want to go far, go alone, right? But if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go further, go together. So how do we go together and how do we collaborate? And this setting provides a phenomenal opportunity to collaborate, right? Because we are all with like-minded folks here who want to make a difference. One of the things that I would love to see is, at least at the end of tomorrow, if there can be 100 collaborations that can start off with saying, this is how we can work together. So my other question that I want to leave you with is, when you meet anybody, when I say, hey, I'm Madan, can the second sentence be, how can I be of help? Because it is with that question that collaboration starts, right? So can we get to hundreds of sparks flying around, of collaborative sparks, which is the second part that I wish. And the third, especially a cause that is really dear to my heart, the rural parts of India. In fact, it's funny that we talk of inclusive development and we talk of rural. Actually, it is the rural that should be including us, because we are really the minority here, right? In fact, as we speak, I'm really happy that less than 150 kilometers from here, in a village called Chinakurli in Mandya district, the last few days we've launched the world's first ever metaverse for rural consumers. We're saying, why should a metaverse travel its journey from a New York to a Bangalore to a Mysore or a whatever? Why can't it start from the other way around? So as we speak, there are hundreds of consumers who are entering the metaverse, trying out various clean tech products like a solar pump or an electric vehicle showroom, and they don't have to then travel 50 kilometers to travel to a showroom. They can. And we are also saying, so with the phenomenal strides in education and healthcare, I see technology playing a massive role. Imagine a hospital in the metaverse, a university in the metaverse, which can make access, choice, and convenience a reality for our rural consumers. So the third wish that I would think is, let's think leapfrog technology. Let us think of not trickle down, but also how we can collaborate as technologists here to really unleash the power of technology to make a difference in the hinterlands of India. And I would want to leave a last thought which says that, the third C that came to my mind, with the passion that Jay Garu and the entire Lagan team was talking about, that this whole Atmanirbhar Bharat and the Amrit Kal that we are seeing has come out after a lot of Manthan. The Samudra Manthan first brought out the halahal, the poison, right? And I think the Manthan has kind of ended and we are entering the Amrit Kal. We will only make it an Amrit Kal if each of us take our purpose as a crusade. So the third C that I would want to say is, how do you connect to the crusader and the crusade within you? Stop not till the fight is over. And I think only when we treat it as a crusade, it will lead to a fruition. Otherwise, we will all go back thinking, oh, I found a cause, I have people to collaborate, but if there's no fire within, it'll just die down. So I wish all of us that we find our own crusades, and we find collaborators in that crusades, and we connect to the purpose within that. Coming in from Bangalore, several of you here, really delighted that TiE Bangalore, and I see several of my colleagues from TiE Bangalore here. We are all here together on that crusade and really look forward to collaborating with each and every one of you to really create the world of abundance and oneness. Thank you so much. Jai Hind.
Thank you, Mr. Madan. We would now like to extend our love and gratitude to Mr. Madan Phadke. We now request Shri Ramani Iyer, co-founder Just Dial Limited, and who has also mentored many startups to realize their own visions, to address all of us.
Morning to all. Thank you, Swamiji. Thank you, Jay sir, all the dignitaries. I can just see some magic happening over here with so many people gathered and working towards achieving something big in the next 2 days. I'll just say, just 2 months back, I met Jay sir we were just casually discussing, just got to know each other, and we could see like both of us are thinking on the same line of helping the startup community to build their business and see how we can support them in a holistic way. And I actually took this particular path very seriously. Somewhere in 2019, I happened to read one article in the paper which actually highlighting like India got more startup failures than success stories. So I said like, why not I play some role in helping these startups and show them the right direction, whatever I learned in my life running a company like Just Dial, some kind of ethics, some kind of principle, some kind of formula which you can use it to make your business more successful and profitable. So I was decided to go for it. In fact, I already started supporting few startups, and I met Jason and he said like, how about doing an event like this? And I said, yes, I'm very much interested to support this entire cause, and that's how we have this event in front of us. With the support of Swamiji again, we could achieve this kind of a massive event with such a beautiful place, and I'm sure you all are going to enjoy the best, and you're going to learn, and you're going to get the best networking done over here in this event. And I personally going to be available with you all, and anytime you can reach out to me, any support. Here is not only be looking, you have to look only for the funding. You see, here we have industry experts available. Try to learn more from them. If funding happens, brilliant. Otherwise, try to learn from their experience and see how you can improve your business from whatever stage you are today and how you can take it to the next level. So that is my request again. Again, this 1 rupee app, what we introduced today, I'm just telling you some of my the company where I'm mentoring today, a company like Spike and Ingo and Mineva and all, I want to connect their business. Like every time a person is going to use a service like Spike, which is actually the power bank rental service, every time you use a Spike, we'll try to contribute 1 rupee to the cost, what you have here. Okay, so indirectly the Spike users are going to contribute 1 rupee. Okay, whenever they use the service to this particular cost, we'll connect it to this 1 rupee app part of it. Secondly, we have this Ingo bike, which is a very unique, 100% made in India. I want to put this on a test drive in the market without, I'm just telling the team here, we'll put this bike on the test drive here. I'm just telling you, every 100 meters you're going to ride here in this bike as a test drive, 1 rupee goes to the event, but in this cost. Let me see how many people are going to have the test drive to make this cost happen more better. I'm not going to take much of your time. We're going to meet and talk more in the next 2 days. Thank you. Thank you, Namaskar.
Thank you, sir. We would now like to extend a token of our love and appreciation to Mr. Ramani Iyer. Our next speaker this morning is Srimati Mamta Madireddy, Managing Director of HSBC. May we please kindly request you to address all of us. Thank you. You need to address? I don't think so. You tell me. Respected Swamiji, dignitaries on the dais, and ladies and gentlemen, I thought I don't need the stool, so I'm hoping all of you can see me. First of all, Jaya Garu and the Lagan team, many congratulations for your first India Startup Festival. And just putting this together of this scale and this quality, I think is just a phenomenal achievement. Many congratulations, and wishing you and wishing all of us, I think many such successful India Startup Festivals. And personally, thank you Jaya Garu for inviting me. It's an honor to be here. So I come from the banking industry, and I'll talk a bit about how
banking's evolved, should I say, in the last 2.5 years. We rewind back to March 2020, the most unprecedented thing happened, right? COVID hit us, and in the last 2.5 years, the landscape of banking completely changed. Right? If you look at our customers, we were always pushing our customers to do more digital transactions, but that never happened to the extent that banks wanted to. But come COVID, the digital transformation just accelerated big time. And even us as banking customers or any other customers have moved to digital channels so seamlessly. Second, we talk about our entire workforce. We all used to be at work, 8,000, 10,000, 20,000 of us, seeing each other in person, working together, collaborating, connecting, and celebrating all the successes. That changed overnight. You suddenly had a 100% workforce who didn't really know how to work in a virtual world. So the definition of collaboration, the definition of connecting, the definition of celebration took a completely different meaning. Then came in technology that replaced the physical element almost as effectively as us being physically in office. The third element for us is banking, which took almost paramount significance in the last 2.5-3 years, was sustainability. Right? Us running our operations sustainably, but also ensuring that customers of ours are moving into solutions which are sustainable. Because we don't have the right to ruin the planet that we inherited from our ancestors. We don't have the right to do that. We have to leave the planet in a much better place and a much better shape to our next generations. So that element of sustainability also took paramount importance. So why am I kind of painting this landscape? Because in all of these changes that we saw, we had to respond at a significant pace, and technology almost became the key driver for us to be able to respond to all of this. And today, there is no better time than now for the banks, the financial industry, to connect, to collaborate with the startups. We cannot afford to miss this opportunity, because this opportunity will never come again. And like Jaya Garu mentioned, connect with the cause. I think every collaboration, every connection that we do has a cause. It is only the right lens that we need to apply to be able to discover the cause and be able to relate to it. So I'm really excited to be here, to be able to connect, to be able to collaborate, to be able to connect to a cause, but more importantly, I think celebrate every bit of success that we are going to see from here onwards. Because again, the last 2 years, I think celebrations have somehow dampened, and just seeing all of you in person here is itself a great sense of encouragement and a great sense of motivation. So on that note, wishing Jaya Garu and the team, many success. And like I said, I'm very, very excited to really see, the opportunities that are there with the startups. Thank you so much for having me here.
Thank you so much, ma'am. May we please extend a token of our love, gratitude and appreciation to Srimati Mamta Madireddy. Now like to invite Mr. Anil Shetty, politician and change maker, to address all of us.
Pranam Swamiji. Good morning, everybody. First of all, I would like to congratulate the organizers of Startup Festival, Jay Chaudhary ji, Raja Mukherjee ji, Ramani Iyer ji, and Akshay Shetty is also here. What is more apt time than this time for India to celebrate the story of startups? In the last 1 decade, we had 75,000 registered startups, created 340 billion in value, employed 7.5 lakh people, direct jobs, and few million indirect jobs, 107 unicorns, and it really fueled India's growth to become the economic superpower, and we are on a right path. India being the youngest nation on the earth, the young people have risen, started up, and made this country truly a startup nation in the world. If I have to say this, I was a startup myself at the age of 18 when I came to Bangalore with 75 rupees in hand. In startup world, we say, define the problem statement. When I was 18, my problem statement was, I didn't have the money, I wanted to make money. Today, my problem statement has changed. Now I want to serve. And there are a lot many people who are in need of help, and solution is to serve them. That's what this institution, that's what the Swamiji says and preaches all of us. And Jay Chaudhary ji said in his speech that this is a platform he is creating for all of us to come together to collaborate and find out how well we can serve the nation. India needs to come together to become the economic superpower, because I believe we are already a social and spiritual superpower. As we all grow, as we all got so much from this country, I always say, I had nothing. Whatever I got this from this very nation. We all have two mothers. One who gave birth to us, our own mother. Another one is this motherland, Bharat Mata. We must all serve both the mothers. And this is the kind of a platform which brings us together to ideate how to serve best. And I am very happy to be part of this startup festival. Being a startup entrepreneur, my first startup was when I was 20. That was in a financial services market. 23, I had one in the film and the cricket and the business industry. Raised a little less than $1 million when I was 24. Lost it. I became a startup banker at the age of 27. For the last 7 years, I have been supporting startup companies to raise early stage capital. Some have become unicorns. I've seen companies grow from literally an idea on a paper to become the unicorns and more. And now, recently, I must say this, there are two kinds of entrepreneurs. One who become entrepreneur by choice, one who become by accident. So I was an entrepreneur by choice. First it was to solve my own problem of making money, then is to earn more for the others, create employment. And my recent startup, which I just launched with film actor Sunil Shetty, is called Metaman, India's first men's jewelry brand. So we believe that Indian men always wore jewelry. It was lost during the British era because they made us factory class labor by giving us pant and shirt. And I remember a conversation with Sunil Shetty. He was wearing a necklace. I asked him, where did you get this necklace from? He said, it's from my mom, because there's not really a men's jewelry brand in India. And Indian men, the kings, used to wear the pearls and the necklaces. And that was our culture. We used to wear the jewelry as a part of the story of the India's culture. But unfortunately, it was lost. And we decided we will revive the whole Indian men's jewelry culture. And we launched a brand called Metaman. We just raised a little less than $1 million. So, and that's the new startup. and Jay Chaudhary was introducing me to somebody, and he said, Anil is also a political startup. Yes, I'm also a political startup. I joined BJP 2 years ago as a state treasurer for Karnataka Yuva Morcha, and I'm preparing to contest my next election from BTM-led constituency in 2023, in 6 months from now, and for the Karnataka Assembly seat, MLA. And I'm parallelly running a business startup and a political startup, and I'm very happy that Anil Shetty himself was a startup when I was 18. He's no more a startup. So, because this society, this country gave me so much, and I find different ways, different fields to give back as much as possible, because I was just reading, and I just tweeted that also and put it on my Instagram, love all, serve all. Swamiji, what a message. You just turn back and see behind, love all, serve all. And when I put it on Instagram, I should show you the response I got from people. This is what our country is about. This is what we Indians are about. We truly believe in the idea of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. We truly believe that we are, as Swami Vivekananda ji said, we consider everybody the brothers and sisters of our own. So thank you very much, and I would request Swamiji to allow me to leave from this August gathering, because I had to rush back to my constituency for an event, and I'm apologizing to the audience for leaving the program in the middle, and I would do this pranam to Swamiji and take a leave. Thank you very much, and once again, Bharat Mata Ki Jai. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Shetty. We would like to extend a token of our love and gratitude to you. Our next speaker is Ms. Sirisha Varuganti, Managing Director, JCPenney, FinTech Advisor and Mentor.
So firstly, Namaskar Swamiji, and thanks Chaudhary Garu for having me here. What a way to celebrate innovation. And I see the power in this room is just amazing, right? And the energy in the room. With all these companies that have set up stalls, and I'm certainly looking forward to going and seeing what each one has. Everybody has spoken about innovation and startups and what these bring. And being part of large behemoths that I've been, like MasterCard and JP Morgan Chase and now JCPenney, I think the startup community really helps these large elephants run. And I really look forward to every time a new solution gets created or how we can collaborate with that ecosystem. And I think it was rightly put, right? Connect, collaborate, and celebrate. And I think I always look forward to what the startup ecosystem can actually bring to the table. Now, with that said, I just wanted to, I know everybody's spoken about innovation, Atmanirbharta and everything. It's not always the fun and, all the mega bucks that startups can get. There's a lot of toil and a lot of effort as one goes through this effort. And there is a Sanskrit shloka that comes to my mind, and I thought I'll share that with all of you. It's not necessarily for startups, but I think it's for any student that is actually going through a journey. And here is how it goes. Kaka cheshta. Kaka is a crow. And you must have heard the story of, how a crow saw this pitcher with very, very little water in it and started getting, pebble by pebble and putting it into that pitcher and, ensuring that water comes up so that the crow can drink that water. So the startups to me are like that. It's a lot of enterprise that is required, and you always need to see, all of us see dots, right? But the startups are supposed to see those hidden dots, which nobody else really sees, which is the opportunity. And strive and go through that effort to ensure the water comes up so that they can drink it and, of course, celebrate it and work with the rest of us. Bakodhyanam. Baka is a crane. If any of you have seen cranes in water, they always have their eyes closed and are on one leg, right? And that's exactly how each one of us, each one of you really needs to be. Have your focus intact, right? And they close their eyes, they let alone all the small fish go around, but when there's a big fish, you suddenly see them lapping that big fish. So it's exactly the same for each one of you. Look for those opportunities that are available, and that's where, all the networking and things like that, help you, and all of us here are pretty much there to provide those opportunities. So Bakodhyanam is really about the focus that you need to have and pick those large opportunities. Shwana Nidra. Shwana, if any of you know, is a dog. And have you ever seen a dog sleep? Well, you think it's sleeping, but then if there's the minutest of sound, the dog's up, right? So that's how alert you need to be in terms of looking for opportunities, because those opportunity windows are really, really small, right? I mean, what today seems like $1 billion opportunity ceases to be $1 billion opportunity tomorrow. So that's where you need to be really alert. It's not about these, fantastic solutions that you can create. But it's also about looking for those opportunities that you can pick up so that you become a unicorn, as you kind of build through your solutions. So Shwana Nidra is the third. The next is Alpahari. Somebody talked about fire in the belly. To me, that's what it is. It's not about eating less, but it's really about that hunger and that fire in the belly to keep that innovative aspect of a solution going. Now, anybody talks fintech, anybody talks, fintech, because I come from the financial sector, really. It's about, constantly having that hunger to look for those opportunities so that you can create something, you can find those white spaces that the industry doesn't have, so that you're able to invest into those white spaces and build a solution that everybody wants, right? So that's Alpahari. And the last one is Grihatyagi. Grihatyagi is somebody, in the literal sense, it really means somebody who's left their home. But here, it's about that focus where there is nothing else that's more important than the solution that you're building. So I thought, this particular shloka, and I'll probably just recite the whole thing. It's called Kakacheshta, Bakodhyanam, Shwana Nidra, Tathaivacha, Alpahari, Grihatyagi, Vidyarthi, Panchalakshanam. And I think startups need to have all these 5 if you really have to make it big and continue to see those dots that nobody is seeing, right? With that, wishing all of you the very best, and I'm really excited to look at the stalls and look forward to what we can do this year and the coming years. So big congratulations to the team.
Thank you so much, and we'd like to extend a token of our love to you. We would also like to extend a token of our love and gratitude to Mrs. Revati Kamath. We will now have 2 MOU exchanges between Life Cycle and the Sri Sathya Sai University for Human Excellence. May we invite Mr. Dinanath back on stage, and we also request the Vice Chancellor of the Sri Sathya Sai University for Human Excellence, Professor Sri Kantamurthy, to kindly come forward, please.
We are integrating these two companies in this same campus, and hopefully they will set a new example, the value-driven valuations. They will provide more service to the nation. So we are hoping that these two companies which are getting incubated in this auspicious campus will set a new example how new generation startups, how they can do, how they can actually help the country in nation building. So a big target is there for both the CEOs of these two companies, Life Cycle as well as Gossip Corner. I hope they will fulfill our aspirations. I congratulate them.
Though Mr. Dina comes from an investment banking background, the only thing he talks about is cycling. And we do hope that this partnership is going to be a lot fruitful. And the next MOU, may we please invite Mr. Raja Mukherjee on stage for the Gossip Corner launch. And we invite Professor Sri Kantamurthy, Vice Chancellor, to kindly come forward. Gossip Corner is an initiative to create livelihood opportunities for specially abled women, children who've lost their parents because of COVID, widows and women who were impacted due to COVID. This morning, the India Startup Festival would like to confer the Lifetime Achievement Award to a passionate educator who has always believed that the right education is the only solution for all the problems of the world. Shri B.N. Narasimhamurthy, Chancellor of the Sri Sathya Sai University for Human Excellence. His citation reads thus: an avid reader, a lucid orator, a deep thinker, an intellectual with scientific acumen, and a devoted disciple to your spiritual masters, Sri Sathya Sai Baba and Sadhguru Sri Madhusudan Sai, you have been a dedicated worker championing the cause of values-based education for over 50 years. As an educator and a mentor for young students, your role has been significant in not only empowering students with knowledge, but more importantly, enlightening them about the art of living with a compassionate heart, while focusing on honing brilliant heads and developing competent hands. You taught by precept and led every student to become better versions of themselves through the unison of the various facets of true education: competence, culture, compassion, and more importantly, character. You have led a ripened life of service for humanity by shaping young minds. And the India Startup Festival is humbled to offer upon you this Lifetime Achievement Award for an extraordinary life of service and spirituality. May we please invite Shri B.N. Narasimhamurthy, sir, to kindly deliver his acceptance speech.
I offer my loving pranams at the lotus feet of Sadhguru Sri Madhusudan Sai Ji, who is a worthy spiritual heir to my first great divine master, Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba. Industry and business leaders on the stage, off the stage, entrepreneurs, investors, venture capitalists, brothers and sisters. I am truly moved and humbled to receive this honor on behalf of all full-time dedicated workers whom we call Tyagajivis, 100 in number, who have dedicated themselves to the service of the nation through these institutions without entering into even family life, who have sacrificed their all. And I am very proud to be one of them, one of the seniors. I also receive this honor on behalf of hundreds of dedicated teachers and other karyakartas of our university and our 23 educational campuses across Karnataka, Telangana, and Tamil Nadu. And very humbly, I offer this honor at the feet of Sadhguru Sri Madhusudan Sai. I had the singular good fortune of living with and serving two great masters, spiritual masters in my life. The first I met when I was 20-year-old, Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba. And for next 47 years, he was my guide, he was my inspiration. I just did what he asked me to do. When he dropped the mortal coil in 2011, as I was wondering whether I would retreat into a completely spiritual life, there came the second master in my life, Sadhguru Sri Madhusudan Sai, who made his advent. And after that, in the last 11 years, I have been just doing what he asked me to do. I was myself an educational startup, if I may call so. 50 years ago, exactly in 1972, in this very place, where there was not a single building and not a single tree. It was a barren hillock which was called Devagala Denne, the hillock of the ghosts. Nobody came here. And we started the institution with the blessings of my mentor, Madhyal Narayan Bhatt, who is no more, and with the inspiration of Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba. And the success story of this chain of institutions is best summed up and best defined by the last shloka, the last stanza of the Bhagavad Gita, which all of you would be aware. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishno, Yatra Partho Dhanurdharaha, Tatra Shri Vijayor Bhutihi Dhruva Nitir Matir Mama. There are many young startup boys and girls here. How do we get true success? This particular shloka not only tells us how we get success, it also defines what is truly success. That is very important. Wherever there is Bhagavan Sri Krishna is not a person. He is a divine representation. It could be Lord Buddha, it could be Jesus Christ, it could be Bhagavan Sri Ram, it could be a prophet. It doesn't matter. One who is the conduit for attaining divine grace. Wherever there is that divine grace, and Yatra Partho Dhanurdharaha. Here Arjuna represents the startup actually. And he is not the Arjuna who has thrown away the bow. With the inspiration and grace of Bhagavan Krishna, he has again picked up the bow. Dhanurdharaha, one who is ready to act. One who is ready to act on the basis of his convictions, values and principles and follow the divine command. See, wherever these two are there, one is the divine grace, second is an enterprising individual who is ready to work on the basis of principles. That is the difference between Partha and other entrepreneurs. One who keeps values above wealth and principles above power. He is such an entrepreneur. When these two are there is Shrihi, Vijayaha, Bhutihi, Dhruva Nitihi. What does it mean? There is prosperity and Vijaya, mundane success also. Most important are the next two. Bhutihi, inner joy and contentment. He is an achiever with an inner joy and contentment. And Dhruva Niti is steady and sound policy. The true success is not just amassing wealth in this world, adorning positions of power, not even gaining name and fame. Along with the external success, utilizing all our talents and strengths to achieve what we can do for the world, not in the world. I don't want to use the word, do it in the world. What you can do for the world, you have to achieve all that. Earn as much money as you can. Earn as much power as you can. Earn as much name and fame as you can. Absolutely nothing wrong with it. Along with that, inner happiness is very important. And external success comes with inner contentment when we base all our ventures on values and principles. And that is the success story of these institutions, which was started in 1972 with the Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba's inspiration. But all the wonderful empire, in fact, Tejasvi Surya, the parliament member who had come here day before yesterday, he said, I see a miracle here. In the last 10 years, after Sadhguru made his advent in this place, an empire has been built. It's an empire of service. 22 new educational campuses have come up, and 4 multi-speciality, super-speciality hospitals which render completely free of cost healthcare to anybody who comes to the portals of the hospitals have been established. 12 spiritual centers all over the world, at least 2 in each of the continents, have been established. And 3 hospitals in most backward countries like Fiji, where we render completely free of cost healthcare to the children of Fiji by performing the surgeries, heart surgeries. It was established. Sri Lanka, Battikulova, which has 30,000 war widows. We have established a hospital to serve the people there. And in Nigeria, another country which needs great service, where there is a lot of suffering, we have established a hospital. All this has been possible because we lived for the world, we lived for others, we based our lives on the sacred principles of love, compassion, sacrifice, and selfless service. That is the success story. I am so very grateful to Sri Chaudhary Garu. I am so fascinated with your captaincy faculties and captaincy capacities. And you called only 2 batsmen onto the stage. Each of them scored a double century. But I want to join your cricket team because in 1965 I played for Bangalore University against Sunil Gavaskar, representing Bangalore University. I was a 5-down batsman and the chosen off-spin bowler, I would like to join you. Thank you very much, everybody. I'm feeling this may be my 1000th speech in this hall, but there is so much of energy when I see all of you. You have brought so much of energy and dynamism to this place, and I have heard very illuminating talks, very short talks from every one of you here. Generally, I don't get to hear because we invite a lot of politicians also. But we have heard wonderful talks from you, very inspiring. I feel inspired. Now I am nearly 80, but I want to continue my innings to serve mankind, especially the children, forever. Thank you very much.
Several lives are being illumined by the benevolent acts of goodness every day in the verticals of nutrition, education, and healthcare, spearheaded by Sadhguru Sri Madhusudan Sai. Let us see a short video which will showcase glimpses of how we can join hands and work together for a better society.
ಇಲ್ರಿ ನಾವೇನು ಸಾಲಿ ಕಿಲಿ ಏನು ಕಲಿತೇ ಇಲ್ರಿ ಕಲಿಸಿಲ್ರಿ ಅಪ್ಪ ಅವ್ವ ಅವಾಗ ಹಿಂದಕ್ಕೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ರೀ ಅದು ಏನು ಅವಾಗ ಏನೂ ಇಟ್ಟು ಇದು ಕೇರ್ನ್ಯಾಗ ತಗೋತಿದ್ದಿಲ್ರಿ ಮೇಡಮ ಮತ್ತು ಈಗ ವಯಸ್ಸಾಗುತ್ತಾನ ಮದುವೆ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಡಂಗಿಲ್ರಿ ಇದು ಅವಾಗೆಲ್ಲ ನಮ್ಮದು ಕೂಸುಗಳು ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಮದುವೆ ಮಾಡ್ಯಾರ್ರಿ ಮತ್ತು ಇನ್ನು ಇರಲಿ ಅವ್ವ ಅಪ್ಪ ಕೊಟ್ಟಾರಂದ್ರೆ ಯಾಕಿರ್ಲಕ್ಕ ನಮ್ಮದರೆ ಹಿಂಗಾಗ್ಯದ ಮಕ್ಕಳದರೆ ಭವಿಷ್ಯ ಒಂದು ಜರ ಮುಂದೆ ಕರೀಲಿ ಚಂದಾಗಿ ಬೆಳೀಲಿ ಇರ್ಲಿ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಹಚ್ಚಿವ್ರಿ
ಎಷ್ಟೇ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನನ್ನ ತಂದೆ ತಾಯಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಕಷ್ಟಪಟ್ಟು ದುಡಿತಾರ ನಾ ಅವ್ರಿಗೊಂದು ಗುರಿ ತಂದು ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕನ್ನೋದು ನನ್ನ ಆಸೆ
बेटी को दिल में शेर है इस बात का पता मुझे जनवरी में पता चला था तब जो वो 5 महीने की थी इसके पापा ने एक अपनी फ्रेंड से बात की होगी तो उन्होंने बताया श्री सत्य साई हॉस्पिटल है वो रायपुर में है और वहाँ पे बच्चों का ही इलाज होता है। ये हॉस्पिटल की सबसे मुझे अच्छी चीज़ लगी ये हॉस्पिटल नहीं है एक मंदिर है और यहाँ पे बिल वाला कोई भी काउंटर नहीं है। यहाँ पे 1 रुपये का भी खर्चा नहीं लगने पड़ा और सब यहाँ पे फ्री ही मिलता है। और जो मैंने पहली बार देखा मेरी बच्ची बिल्कुल ठीक है उसको नया जन्म मिला है मैं बहुत खुशी हुई।
When I was in 8th, a sudden sorrow struck our family that my father passed away due to sudden stroke. My mother was a daily wage worker, became the sole breadwinner of the family, and it was very difficult for her to bring us up with a little amount that she received. Since my mother used to go to work every day in the morning, she was not able to prepare food and we had to go to school on empty stomach. But here, life took a different turn. When I was studying in government school, every day I used to get hot breakfast through Annapurna people. I wish many poor children would be benefited by this Annapurna program.
Sadhguru Sri Madhusudan Sai, through whom our most beloved Divine Master, Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba, is taking his mission forward towards culmination.
Whatever Swami starts becomes a movement.
Today, it is not just about launching an app with the name Gurukulam. It's a whole new beginning.
It
It is my wish. I want to open 600 schools across the length and breadth of this country. We are here to create good men and women before great men and women. Once you are a good person with selfless thoughts, you are bound to be a good engineer of service to society. You will be a good doctor who will serve many more who are in need of your service. These little children, they go to school. How can they learn without food in their stomach? They may not remember my name or your name, but this is one thing they will always remember. There are some good human beings who cared for us. They came on their own and with great love, they served us. And that is what is going to change the world. God is defined as somebody who has 4 hands, 6 hands, 8 hands, 10 hands. But truth is that God does not personally have these many hands. It is a symbolism. That is the strength of God multiplies with each one of us doing our bit. The most beautiful sight is a child smiling.
At this new children's screening center, young Fijians will be provided heart screenings completely free of cost.
It is not just giving food, it is not just giving education, it is not just giving health care. Baba is showing to the world today, the people and their leaders, this is the way it should be done.
From the time of conception till the child grows and becomes a noble citizen of the country, our work does not end. Somebody came and asked me, Swami, can I be a part of your mission? I said, you are not a part, you are the mission. Your transformation is the mission. That's why everything else has been created. These are all aids and supports to help you undertake this mission of your own transformation. Lokahite, to serve the society, to make the society better, is all that we should think, speak, and do all the time.
On behalf of all of us, may we please pray and request to Sadhguru to address us with his inaugural message for the India Startup Festival 2022.
Please be seated. Shri Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Name parthasti kartavyam trishu lokeshu kinchana nan avaptam avaptavyam varta evacha karmani. Lord Krishna says, I have no duty whatsoever in all the 3 worlds. There is nothing that I have not achieved, there is nothing that I need to achieve. Yet I work, yet I act. For what sake? And he says, Yadyada charati shreshtaha tattad deve taro janah sayat pramanam kurute lokas tadanuvartate. Because as noble people conduct themselves in the society, the ordinary people follow their example. And that's how societies become better. For that sake, Lord Krishna says, I act. Though I have nothing to achieve, I am not here to become a unicorn, sunicorn, junicorn, or whichever corn, but I act because I need to develop the society, set an example for others to follow. We were in the Bay Area, Silicon Valley, and there were a group of venture capitalists seated in a small room. And I was being bombarded with questions about why free service, how is it sustainable, and things like that. I was happy that I could convince them at the end that it was necessary. But they asked me, what is that one thought you want to leave with us before you go? And they were studying Bhagavad Gita, some of them very nice that they were doing that. And they asked one message from Bhagavad Gita, and this is what I could give them. Be an example. Be an example to the society in whichever field you are working. If you're a teacher, be an exemplary teacher, be an exemplary doctor, exemplary businessman, exemplary venture capitalist, exemplary startup. An example in everything is the best service you can do to the society. So all I have to convey on this wonderful occasion, meeting of great minds, there is energy, there is experience in this room, in this hall, and with such luminaries on the stage. They are all examples in their own fields. All I want to convey is, please be an example in your own way. Whatever startup you're taking on, whatever venture that you're entering into, whatever investments you're going to make, let it be an example for everybody else to follow. I'm especially grateful to Chaudhary ji and the entire Lagan team. As I said, they have worked day and night to make this happen. It was simply a small idea. Can this be done? Can we bring industry and society, in the sense charity, together? Let's see what can come out of it. And he was so enthusiastic, he went out of his way to organize this event. And as an ashram, as a small institution here, whatever we could do, we did, but it was much to do with him and his entire team, Mr. Ramani, Raja, Deena, everybody else, and all of them who have joined us today. I'm so grateful to all of you to find time to come here. And I'm sure this Startup Festival is not going to be the same as the earlier ones. Not because of the good food that you're going to get, much better than served in the 5-star hotels, but because of the idea that you're going to take from here, that we are here not to rule but to serve. We are here not to take but to give. We are here to love, to do our bit for the betterment of the society through our ventures. And that is the idea which we want to incubate in this place. And if every one of you can take this idea with you, that yes, I will do well, I will grow, I will create great companies, employ people, but at the same time, if you're in touch with the ground realities, your ears are on the ground, what's actually happening in the rural India, then I think we would have really benefited from this coming together, this gathering. I'm a big advocate of rural India, and not without a reason, because that is where the fortune at the bottom of the pyramid, as they say, that's where it lies. And unless we build the rural India through education, unless the children are healthy, they are well fed, they're well educated, they're skilled, where are you going to get your next generation of workforce? Where are you going to get your next generation of consumers and customers? You're not going to get them. Whatever demographic dividend will be a distant dream, even at 100. So while we talk about $1 trillion economy, $5 trillion and things like that, per capita will still remain poor. Your averages will continue to distance or divide the haves and the have-nots. So if we want that per capita to reach to the last person, so that everybody has enough in their hands to spend and grow this economy, I think you people have to take the lead. I'm not going to talk to the big companies, they're doing what they're doing. But these startups, if you can think rural, if you can take these ideas, solve rural problems, it may take time for you to become a unicorn or a whatever corn, decacorn, hectocorn and things like that. But you will definitely be doing much more good to the society. And you measure your success in terms of the impact, as he said, 1 billion smiles that you can create, not $1 billion valuation. And that is something that we expect out of you, and that's the responsibility that you all collectively carry, and you can't shun it away, you can't shrug away, that this is not our job. And as India, we stood for everybody's development, sarve jana sukhino bhavantu, sarve bhavantu niramayaha. That is the idea with which we have worked. May you all join forces. And this place, I call this as Siddha Sankalpa Bhumi. You know, if you decide something, it will happen. This is the power of this ashram. Whatever we have thought of as a charitable organization, we have achieved much more than that. You know, you have had a glimpse in the video. But just to put you in a startup terms, you know, because unless I speak your language, you won't understand the gravity of it. We are an institution who has spent more than $200 million in the last 10 years in setting up 5 pediatric super specialty hospitals, university, education institutions, and the world's largest morning nutrition program. 1 million children every day, they are served nutritious breakfast, and that's the issue at the grassroots level. How did it all happen? We don't have an industry that we run, we don't have a venture capital which funds these kind of growths, but we have the society with us. Everybody does their little bit for this cause, who believe in this cause, and that's how these institutions are growing. And I'm sure with us all coming together on this very special occasion, in this very moment, things will even grow faster than this. Let us work together. Collaboration is the key word. And only when we collaborate can we celebrate the 100th year of India as a developed nation and not a developing nation. So I invite all of you to join forces, join hands. May the right ideas find right investors. May the right innovators find the right mentors. May everyone find what we need to grow, to become the next thing in our lives. May this place provide you with that right opportunity, right match. And I thank everyone for having had the patience to wait so long through the program. And now I think the next set of events will take over from here. And I'm so glad, especially to Mr. Ramani, I want to say he's the man who walks the talk. We talked about 1 rupee app, and he went ahead and said, here, I'm going to make it institutionalized in my own companies to begin with. I'm very grateful to you for taking the lead and leaving the queue for others to follow. As I said, an example to be set. But I look forward to an India where there is nobody hungry, where there is nobody uneducated, where there is nobody unhealthy. And even if somebody is unhealthy, they have access to health care. I'll leave all the venture capitalists with 3 key words as your vision for your companies. 1, availability or accessibility to the rural. 2, affordability to the rural. And 3, agreeable. Whatever solutions you provide should be in tune with the rural culture. You can't bring an urban thing and cut, copy, paste in a rural mindset. Please take care that these 3 things are with you. It's an agreeable solution, it's an affordable solution, it's an accessible solution, and I'm sure you will not be billionaires, you will be trillionaires in times to come, because that's where all the wealth lies if you can tap into it. Maybe I should just end with this one discussion I had with Mr. B.V. Jagdish from, I think, Kaj Ventures, a product of Karnataka, made it big in the Bay Area, and he would always argue with me. And he brought up this idea that the biggest, personal computing company in the world, it has a huge foundation, it does a lot of work today, but at some point in time it was a small company, but was the first big $1 billion company. He asked me, what could have they done better? They did so much. They brought personal computing to so many people. Could they have been doing things any better? I said, yes, they could have done much better. If they had made personal computing accessible to the rural and the common people, today, not 1.5 or 2 billion people, maybe 5 billion people would have been using personal computing. And internet would have reached every doorstep, in every African home, every Indian home, every South Asian home, there would have been access to internet and thing. Maybe he would not have become a $1 billion company too soon, but today he would have been a $1 trillion company if he had done this and waited enough to reap the fruits of the efforts. So please don't just look at being a unicorn. I don't know what you call that, Trunicorn? Trunicorn, $1 trillion valuation. And that's what is available to you at the bottom of the pyramid. That's where we work. And I know there is so much to be done. There is so much potential in our rural setup. And I hope you will be convinced that you have to work at the bottom of the pyramid, because if the bottom collapses, the top will fall. So therefore, you can't stand up too long. Please work with the rural India. Please educate children alongside. Please bring skills through technology, through your ideas, through your energy, through your enterprise to the rural India. That's how we are going to be a $40 trillion economy, with every single Indian's per capita, as they say, the income being equal, being enough for them to take care of themselves and anybody else in need. With these words, I want to thank you all once again for coming over here. Please enjoy your time in the ashram. It's Navaratri celebrations too. If you find time, step into the Yagnishala, take blessings of the Mother Goddess. We also are celebrating Durga Puja, which is the UNESCO World Cultural Heritage. It's been declared by UNESCO, so that's also being done. Do enjoy your time, and I hope you will find what you have come searching for, including a little bit of inner peace. Thank you very much.
Our gratitude, Sadhguru. May we now invite Shri Bharat Kumar, our Head of Projects and financial controller of this institution based here in Sathya Sai Grama to deliver the vote of thanks. He's in the board of management of the Sri Sathya Sai Sarla Multi-Specialty Hospital of the Sri Sathya Sai University for Human Excellence, Shri Bharat Kumar.
Dear distinguished dignitaries and delegates, thank you once again for gracing this occasion of the first edition of India Startup Festival 2022 at Sathya Sai Grama. Thank you is such a prayer which can neither be seen or touched. It must be felt by the heart. And I feel honored and privileged to be proposing a vote of thanks on this special occasion today. At the outset, on behalf of the Trust, I would like to thank Sri J.A. Chaudhary ji, who is the founding director of Software Technology Parks of India, and more importantly, the principal architect and the galvanizing force behind the Startup Festival. Words are not enough to thank you, sir, for your constant guidance and your support in shaping this event. We are immensely thankful to Sri Shivakumar ji, Sri Madan Padki ji, Sri Anil Shetty ji, Srimati Revati Kamath ji, Srimati Mamata Mari Reddy ji, Srimati Sirisha Varuganti ji, and all the other distinguished CEOs and leaders of various organizations who have taken their time out on this weekend to be a part of this festival. This shows your commitment towards improving livelihoods and changing societies. Just listening to the distinguished speakers today has taught us all so much. Much gratitude to all of you once again, ladies and gentlemen. We are immensely thankful to Sri Ramani Iyer, co-founder of Just Dial and a mentor for many startups across several industries. Our gratitude to Sri Dinanath, founder of Lifecycle and creator of the revolutionary 1 Rupee app, which is an initiative to install the culture of selfless giving in everyone. I need to mention our deep sense of appreciation to Sri Raja Mukherjee, a serial entrepreneur and founder of Gossip Corner, for his support. Sri Ujjwal Mukhiaji, head of O3 Events. We are so grateful to you, sir, for even managing this event. An event of this dimension cannot happen overnight. The wheels start rolling well in advance, thanks to the motivated SFI Lagan team and our dedicated team of volunteers. Our collective gratitude to Sri B.N. Narsimurthy sir, who was felicitated today with the Lifetime Achievement Award. Gratitude for all that you have done, sir, to thousands of students like myself over the last 5 decades at Sri Sathya Sai educational institutions, touching our lives and being an inspiration in so many ways, sir. Most importantly, I would like to take this opportunity to express our heartfelt gratitude to the spiritual leadership of Sadhguru Shri Madhusudan Sai, in whose presence this event has verily become a festival to solve major issues that our society is dealing with. Sadhguru has given us a practical and effective model of collaboration, a synergetic model of Sarkar, Samaj and Sanstha. This model brings together the Sarkar, that is the government, which contributes through effective and relevant policy making, Samaj, that is business organizations that contribute through their resources and talents, and Sanstha, that is public charitable organizations like ours, that effectively deliver these policies and talents at the grassroots level, thus creating a better society. Sadhguru gave us the golden rule that when companies are run on timeless values, serving rural India by offering affordable, accessible, agreeable and acceptable affordable solutions, good valuations will follow naturally. Personally, after pursuing a decade-long career in international trade myself, developing markets in over 20 countries in Latin America and Middle East, my heart beckoned to lead a life of gratitude, lead a life which will be an expression of gratitude to what society has given me. Following the heart's dictates and based on Sadhguru's guidance, I joined the trust which gave me a great opportunity to serve society in the areas of health, education and nutrition. It has been an immensely satisfying journey over the last 10 years, Sadhguru, and I thank you for your grace and blessings. At the end, on behalf of the trust and the organizing committee, I would like to wish you all a very memorable and wonderful event at Satya Sai Grama. Let's all come together as Samaj, Sanstha and Sarkar to build a glorious Bharat. Jai Hind, thank you, thank you.
This morning session cannot conclude without saying a big thank you to Chaudhary ji's, like he calls it, the ISF Lagan team. We've been talking a lot about cricket, so let's call the ISF Lagan team up on stage for a group photograph. The team which has worked day and night to put this 2-day festival together. Deena ji, Raja ji, please get your teams and let's have a group photograph with the dignitaries on the dais. A big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. A big round of applause again. And it will only be fitting when his entire team members are on stage. May we extend our love, appreciation and gratitude to the key architect of the India Startup Festival, Mr. Chaudhary. Thank you, Lagan team. We request all the dignitaries to kindly take your seat. Before we conclude this inaugural event, please allow me to draw your attention to the exhibition that has been set up at the rear end of this auditorium. We have 50 main stalls, which means 50 big companies, and apart from them, 100 startups who have very, very enthusiastically worked all night to put up these stalls, and we urge everyone to kindly visit them during the course of the 2 days. After our on-stage dignitaries inaugurate the exhibition in the next few minutes, we will also have the inauguration of the Gossip Corner, and thereafter we kindly request all the delegates seated to proceed for a group photograph with our dignitaries to the steps of this auditorium right in front. And after the dignitaries leave the auditorium, we will continue with the keynotes and the technical sessions as per the planned schedule for the day. At 4 p.m. this afternoon, we will have a very interesting question and answer session with Sadhguru Sri Madhusudan Sai. It will be hosted by none other than Sri D.N. Prahlad, former independent director of Infosys. Thereafter, ladies and gentlemen, we will have a symphony orchestra performed by students of our very own institution. Let me draw your attention to the fact that this is possibly the largest symphony orchestra in the country. You're going to be seeing 100 students in the age group of 13 to 19 who will be performing this evening. And let me also add that most of these children come from underprivileged backgrounds, never seen Western instruments, never had the chance to look at Western notations, and they will be performing for everyone this evening. Please do not miss this. We will then conclude the day with a networking dinner with all the CEOs and CXOs right outside this auditorium. May we please request all our dignitaries now to kindly proceed towards the exhibition area to inaugurate and launch the exhibition. Thank you all very much. Jai Hind.
As we move towards inaugurating Gossip Corner, I'm going to talk about the Gossip Corner story, another classical example of a startup story, which is a bit different from the normal valuation game, what we normally hear of. So Gossip Corner is a project to empower millions of women who lost livelihood due to COVID. When the world was all backstaged due to COVID, a team came up with an idea to create micro-entrepreneurs through people who lost livelihood, women who were specially challenged, war widows, COVID widows. We collaborated with universities, we collaborated with institutions, we created a program. We onboarded hundreds and thousands of women who need intervention in terms of providing a platform to build a livelihood and then work towards making them successful. So Gossip Corner is a classical example of an aggregated startup where we have lakhs of micro-entrepreneurs who work together to create a respectful livelihood. The team is here today. The team is going to talk about how people from different walks of life have come together, working to ensure that they create a very successful journey. We are blessed to have Swamiji today to inaugurate Gossip Corner and bless all who are part of Gossip Corner family to lead the path of success. It's great honor to have delegates, CEOs, startup founders, Swamiji himself, to come and visit Gossip Corner and bless each one of our entrepreneurs to follow the path of success. Gossip Corner story just started. The target that we have set is to empower a lakh of women entrepreneurs across the country. We have collaborated with every state, thought leaders, institutions, corporates who have come forward supporting us in this journey. So as I said, it's just the start, and with support of every one of us, we are going to ensure that we create pool of ethical entrepreneurs building a respectful livelihood and creating value around the chain. All that we gather at Gossip Corner or all that we sell at Gossip Corner are aggregated from small family farmers, small food processing units, small businesses. We do not have a middleman in between, and that's the reason, as how Swamiji said, we are able to provide these quality products at a very affordable pricing. Gossip Corner is a revolution that we have set, and it's vital that we have everyone's support and cooperation and motivation to make it a super successful. Thank you.
Yeah. Vidya. Okay. Requesting all the jury, all the respected jury and the startup founders to please proceed to the pitching hall, which is Vidyadeep. The buggies are arranged, right? Our volunteers are there.
So the pitching competition is going to start parallelly as we do the inauguration. There's lunch organized for the juries, working lunch arranged for the jury. So I request respected juries, my dear friend founders, to please proceed to Vidyadeep for the pitching competition. Thanks a lot.
and gentlemen, we are just about to start. Sadhguru Sri Madhusudan Sai has just arrived along with the host for the evening. May we please request everyone to kindly take your seats. Ladies and gentlemen, may we please request everyone to take your seats. Kindly put your phones on silent. Volunteers, can you please help with the seating, please? We request everyone at the stalls to kindly come and take your seats. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we request everyone to kindly take your seats. A big round of applause to Sadhguru Sri Madhusudan Sai and the host for the evening, Shri D.N. Prahaladji. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. And without any further delay, I will hand over the mic to Shri D.N. Prahaladji for this fireside chat.
Hello. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, there's no fire here. Hopefully, Swamiji will set a fire within all of us.
I think they have fire in their belly, that's what I was told.
So, Swamiji, first I will start with a question to you. Can we have silence, please? We have a meeting going on. You have your own startup, the medical school, in which you have invested already a sum of about $20 million. It's something quite unique to this country. I would like you to explain how you envisage this being constantly funded and the philosophy behind such a startup.
Thank you for coming over and asking this question. I'm sure many of the people who have come here might have just learned that we are starting a medical school that's absolutely free of cost and probably the first and the only at this point in time. So Prahaladji, being a seasoned businessman, obviously asked the question, how do you envisage it as a sustainable and ongoing basis? How are you going to fund it? No, he gave the answer in his question to me. He called it as a startup and not as a social service venture. A startup always in the initial days requires a lot of investment. Like all of you are working on raising investment from like-minded investors. So in the beginning of the introduction stage of the business, it's only investment and investment and investment, no returns. But after a certain period of time, when the business reaches growth or maturity stage, then there are returns that start coming. So I think the initial days, the investments are being made. How are we going to think of a return or sustainable on the long-term basis? We feel that more and more people who have this common understanding, who feel for this cause, they are going to become associated with us. And moreover, the students and the staff who are going to be working in our hospitals, they reduce the overall cost of our running of the hospitals too. Medical college is made an expensive affair, elitist affair outside. But here buildings are funded by donations. Staff, many of them are working as volunteers. And tomorrow when our own medical students join the hospital, the cost of running the hospitals will further come down. Pharmaceutical companies are a part of it, so they have further reduced the cost. So actually, if we really squeeze the whole thing, compared to a private medical college outside, which has to recover the money invested or the EMIs that they have to pay, plus the high salaries and an urban setup, all these is already excluded out of the picture. So I feel that our budget says that we can run it at 30 to 35% of the cost of a regular private medical college outside. So that's not very much, considering we have already been running schools, universities and hospitals. But the right model is, for the first 10-15 years, I think we have to keep funding through our own resources, through our own well-known people. Over a period of time, it will attract enough people who will have gratitude for the services, for the education that they have received from the institutions, that they will plow back. The alumni model as well as the beneficiary model will come back to us. And after that, I think it will run sustainably for long.
So, Swamiji, if I heard you right, you're saying that the alumni and the beneficiaries are an investment that you're making and you're not viewing it as an expense.
Yes, as it's an investment being made for maybe next 10 or 15 years. It's a long gestation startup, unlike yours.
All right. So, So, coming to regular startups that most of us have been a part of, I have some questions for you. Since you are also a Dharma Guru, I want to ask certain questions relating to Dharma. First question, is an entrepreneur's job only to make money? Are there other parameters that one should consider to be successful? Because Sri Krishna Paramatma says karmanya vadikaraste, which means I should not worry about things other than money. So, what are the pointers from our dharma that an entrepreneur should follow in his given karma?
A very relevant question, not just for entrepreneurs but for everyone. But entrepreneurship was never about making money, I thought. It was about proving an idea and solving a problem. And money was supposed to be the byproduct of entrepreneurship. So I think that sets the concept right. Money will follow if we are doing the things in the right way. And even before Bhagavad Gita starts, Bhishma Pitamaha advises all these Pandavas and says, Yato dharma tata krishno, yato krishna tata jayaha. Wherever there is dharma, the right way of doing things, ethics are there. That's where Krishna is there. Krishna means he represents the divine grace. And wherever such divine grace is there, tato jayaha, that is where victory or success will be. We have seen plenty of startups, entrepreneurs who have come up. They made big valuations, and in the last 3-4 years especially, it's almost it looks like a fantasy. The number of startups that became unicorns all of a sudden. And today we are already seeing the other side. The cycle is turning. We are seeing there are firing of employees, those valuations are deteriorating, and many of these startups have not stood the test of the public bourses. They have not stood the crucible of the public listing, and that's very clear proof. As in, they say, if you have not done it ethically, the public hai sab janti hai. So the moment you go to the stock market, you will come to know what is what, and that's what has happened to most of the startups. The greater fool theory did not work in the public market. And I think that clearly sends out a message that dharma was important. You pinched employees unethically from other companies because you got a huge funding. You found the greater fool and you got funding. And now you destroyed another company. And now when you are not able to make profit, you are kicking them all out. Now hiring employees. So this hire and fire way of startups and entrepreneurship is not dharma. You not only destroyed the business ethics, but you have also destroyed the morale of those employees, those engineers. I was telling the other day, some poor engineer would have got married showing his salary slip. And in 6 months he has got 3 hikes and going to buy a car and borrowed money from the bank to buy a new house. And all of a sudden he's been removed, or he's on the way to the office, he gets a message that you are no more an employee. What happens to him, a budding young engineer? What happens to his morale is the question. And what happens to all those thousands of schools and colleges who lost good teachers because of edtech companies in the last 2.5 years? Now my question is that, is it dharma? It is not dharma. Sooner or later it will show the cracks, and anything that is built on such shaky fundamentals, even if they manage to find a valuation and investors in the short term, long term they will not survive. At least the public, as I said, when they go to a listing, the public will see through the entire model, which is only valuation and no profitability.
Thank you, Swamiji, for a wonderful answer. In fact, that leads me to the next question, because as someone who had to fix salaries for CEOs, I was always in a dilemma. And I now find a particular company which has announced huge emoluments to the founder CEO with no improvement to the ordinary worker. The difference in salary is almost 30,000 times that of the lowest paid worker, and about 20,000 times the average. Now, isn't there an element of ethics to be observed by the boards of these companies, where, what are boards for, and what is the dharma the boards of these companies should follow, especially when the startup may or may not be very successful?
Yeah, you're right. Many of the startups, I don't think this was the culture 2-3 decades ago when Infosys-like companies started, where every board member thought he's just a custodian of the company, and he also is one of the many privileged to lead the company. That was the difference. But in today's times, I think many of these startup entrepreneurs are fascinated by the lifestyle of the CEOs and CFOs of the Bay Area. And they are thinking that, of course, they have struggled through 10 or 8 years of their idea. They might have mortgaged everything, sold their wife's jewelry and everything. So the moment of funding comes, they get excited about leading that CEO life. You should look like a CEO, should wear, talk, move around like a CEO, and they end up paying themselves too much. What is the end result of it? They spoil themselves too early. They have not earned it. They have only borrowed this lifestyle because of some valuation which has come to them. But eventually, the employees see it. They see the disparity. There is anger. Though may not say it, but you can sense it, that employees are not happy. You have lost the trust of your very employees. And for a startup company, the most important ingredient for success is the trust of your employees, because you're too early, too new. Not many people know you. When we started this organization, we are a social service organization, none of the board members are paid any money. Some reimbursement at a very minimal level. Everybody works selflessly, as if they work for food and shelter. But what it has done to the morale of the people below, they believe in us. They believe that these people are good, they are selfless. Now, unless the company does that, the board ensures that the top management is not paid abnormally differently from what they should be paid. And the best example I would say is Infosys. Though Infosys started off as a small company, you know that. But eventually they shared the wealth with their employees. They never paid themselves too much. But the stock prices grew up, the employees were happy with it, and I know half of the Bangalore billionaires, in rupee terms at least, are Infosians. It's only because of this sharing concept, and this is the idea of top management's approach. I feel they should not be in a great hurry to pay themselves off too quickly. They will get paid, and they'll get paid well over a period of time. Patience is the name of the game. If you kill the golden goose too early, everybody will be destroyed. But this culture of instant gratification is what is destroying the good companies and good management also. So I would request all our budding entrepreneurs and startup companies, please have patience to have your cake. And you can't have your cake and eat it too. It is not possible. You have to have some patience in this game. We know your struggle. We know the difficulties that you go through to even bring up a startup, get a valuation of funding. But this is just the beginning of the journey and great responsibility. So please take your time. Learn from the great companies of the past, Tata's, Infosys, They have never paid themselves too much. I know about Mr. Ratan Tata is there, or for that matter, all the Infosys board members in the initial days, but they paid off well because their stock prices went up. They shared their wealth with their employees, and they made so many people wealthy. That is the kind of companies that you should try to create.
Thank you, Swamiji. For me, of course, it's a matter of personal pride that I was one of the early members of the Infosys team, where compassionate capitalism was the name of the game, and that's what we practiced. So thanks so much for that. But, one thing I would like to ask you, see, the mortality rate of companies is very high, so which means companies are bound to fail. How does one handle failures? Follow-up question to that. Even more dangerous than failure is mediocre success, where it's not bad enough to vanish, not good enough to continue. What's your advice for people to judge? Number one, handle failures. Number two, how to make judgment calls and take appropriate action.
I think when we enter into anything new, we have to enter with the attitude there is a 50-50 chance. We might be on the greener side or on the red side. It can happen to us. Situations can change. COVID, for example, was something that changed a lot of companies' fates. And this can happen to anybody. So one is that first enter it with this idea that we have to be ready to face both the sides. There could be a difficult side too. At the same time, if you truly are creating value, and not a short-term value, but a very long-term value, if you're truly providing a solution to a real problem, not an imaginary problem, you create a problem and then make a solution and try to sell the solution. It's not that way. Then, I do not think that any failure is real failure. Failure in terms of not being able to get the valuation at once, not being able to get the funding immediately, or appreciation somewhere, might be as kind of a slowdown or a gear shift, but it is not definitely failure. If the idea is true, if there is an honest intention behind, I don't think there is a failure, there is only a lesson, and you can learn and modify your strategies and again continue from there. But if there is a situation where despite everything, all best intentions, you have not been able to deliver, and you've been asked questions and things like that, I think one thing that you can definitely say is that this is the way it won't work. That is one lesson that we have learned from that. And I'm sure all those people who are sitting here, those who talk of the successes of their ventures, they should someday have a startup summit and talk about how many failures they have faced. And because of that, these ventures are successful today. How many wrong decisions they have made. Nevertheless, there is a possibility we make decisions based on situations. In every situation, if you are true to ourselves, if you are, as I said, providing a real solution to the people, in short term there could be setbacks, but in long term there has to be success. You have to run with the baby for long enough and don't throw it away because it is not yielding enough in the short run. That is another lesson that we must take from this kind of startup economy, which comes with its own risk. So that is why I am saying don't run behind valuation, try to create real value for people, and people will reward you sooner or later. Have that faith.
Swamiji, what you're saying is, a very important lesson that was given to me early in life was entrepreneurship is not a 100-meter dash. It's a marathon run at any point of time. Now, you actually stole my next question, which was startups chasing valuations rather than value. Now, my question is it that too much capital is creating this situation? That's question number one. Second question is again from a dharmic point of view. Valuation is what someone thinks of me. Value is what I think of myself. So from a dharmic point of view, how do you explain to people that they should chase value and not valuations?
This has been our burning discussion with all the people whom I have met. Everybody seems to be chasing valuation and want to become unicorns very soon, but they are not talking about real value that they are creating. However, as you yourself said, too much capital sometimes is not good. Ati sarvatra varjayat, our scripture says, too much of anything is dangerous. If you are getting financed too easily, please be wary. There could be some underlying conditions which are not good for your business, and more money is never equal to more growth. right kind of money is equal to right kind of growth. By putting too much capital, many of these venture capital funds, mostly are US based or Japan based, wherever there is too much of capital, there is no proper interest rate there, they can't earn much, so they come to these growing markets and they dump the money in a way at a certain risk. But what happens, the moment situations change for them, they become very exacting, they're very demanding. So please don't accept funds just because it's somebody writing a check and because they don't know what to do with their money, they want you to figure it out. That's not the right way of accepting capital. You must have patience. When you need it, you take it. When you don't need it, you must have the courage to refuse it as well and wait for the next opportunity. Too much capital, as I said, is the reason why things are getting ruined. During the COVID time, we saw when the other markets were collapsing, all the capital moved towards growing markets like India. And without asking, the company has not even started its operations, but it's already going to be a unicorn, a so-called Sunicorn. That really kind of sent me into some kind of a shock. How can this be possible? There is nothing on the table, but yet they have a valuation. This is simply capital chasing companies. Similar, companies also should not chase capital unnecessarily. When you need it, you take it. Because it's a huge responsibility. Somebody's hard-earned money, not the venture capital funds, but somebody behind that has earned it, trusted the fund, given it. This fund is in a hurry to show returns, to show growth, and they may come chasing you, but you should have the courage to refuse it. If you don't need it, see it another time. As I said, be true to yourself. Follow the ethics of business. Opportunities will find their way to you. And that is what is required at this point in time. But most of the youngsters, as I said, they want to be on the list, top Fortune 500 list too soon. And unfortunately, or misfortune, that is a misfortune 500 list according to me, because they're in a rush to go there, but the fall is also equally steep. And we are seeing it every day. So too much capital is not good. Ati sarvatra varjayet, as our scripture says, never take too much of anything. Everything in right proportion is good for us.
Thank you, Swamiji. That's a wonderful answer. In this regard, I will quote what I heard from Mr. Packard, Hewlett Packard. He said, "I've never heard of companies dying from from starvation, but too many have died from indigestion." That was, one of the true entrepreneurs of the Valley, which we all try to emulate. Then I'll take a slightly lighter note. Ask you a few personal questions on your view of entrepreneurship. Your favorite Indian entrepreneur, please name. It's a rapid fire question.
The business that I think people should run has not yet happened according to me.
So no one yet?
Not yet. But amongst those who are there, I definitely am a very big admirer of Jamshedji Tata for the kind of values that he has put in his company, which has sustained the companies even till now. So I think they have helped the country so much, especially in those times. So he's somebody I really truly admire.
Which company do you admire?
I admire Infosys, at least as it started and as it was run till recently, because they not only made their management wealthy, but they shared the wealth with everyone. I think it was the very first company to do something like this, which has brought immense multiplier effect to every other sector in the economy, be it real estate, be it goods, be it education. In every sphere, because they shared the wealth with their employees, the entire economy has benefited. So that is the right model that I talk about. So I'm a very, as I said, admirer of Infosys from that point of view.
Globally, the same two questions globally.
I have many companies which I do not like globally. I can give you a long list.
I think that list will be bigger than the stock exchange list.
Probably, yeah. But I think globally, I haven't found somebody, because they all started well with great intentions, but somewhere they lost the way. As I said, the valuation or wanting to become the biggest company took over the initial good intentions. That is something that has not gone well with me, at least. So I'm still looking at a company which can think of the greater good of the society above its profits and create profits over a long term, sustainable profits. But I do not see any global company at this point of time which thinks like this.
Thank you, Swamiji. You've actually If you come to my office, you will find J.N. Tata's photo there.
Wonderful.
I do namaskara to him and Sir M.V. before I sit down. They are my gurus, and obviously Infosys is something I'm associated with. I'm very happy it finds a place in your heart.
It has nothing to do with you being from Infosys. It is.
I know, you'll never. But it's a matter of pride for me. So last question I have for you, Swamiji, today, before I open it up to the audience. What advice do you have for all the people who want to change the world?
I think we are celebrating Gandhiji's anniversary tomorrow, being 2nd October. So Gandhiji said, be the change that you want to see in the world. So first you must change your ways. If you want the world to change, the change begins from you. And that is the key, that is the beginning of everything. We want everyone to change, but we do not want to change our ways. So begin there. But what change I want to see in the world in the coming, at least I said for India, the next 25 years, we want to see a developed India. I do not want any child to be out of school. I do not want anybody who is in need of health care to be denied for financial reasons. I do not want anybody to go hungry to bed. It's just today I was reading a news article, it said 69% of children below 5 years die of malnutrition in India. At least, if not more, 600,000 people or so, they go to bed hungry. Now this is a country we are talking about 5 trillion economy in 2025 or 26 as the case may be. And we are talking about a world GDP at 100 trillion plus. And still we have so much of disparity, poverty, so much of difference between the haves and have-nots. But that is not the world that we want. That is not the future that we want. So the change that must come is this maldistribution of resources and unavailability of equitable opportunities must disappear. Everybody should be given at least an opportunity to come up. What they do with it is their choice. But as those who have more, the haves, have the responsibility to provide equitable opportunities to the have-nots to come up in life. And what they do with it is their choice. I think education is a great leveler. If we all can provide right kind of opportunities to every child to educate oneself and come up in life, we will create a much better world. Education is one solution to all the problems of the world. So I would like to see a world where everybody is educated and not just academically brilliant, but morally and ethically also very strong in their character. That kind of education is what I want to see in the world. That's my vision of the world. I think once we do that, all of the problems will be solved.
Thank you, Swamiji, for that wonderful answer. I mean, if I were to summarize it in a word, you're calling for compassion from all the people to the people who have not crossed the chasm, as it were. Just because you have crossed it, don't assume that there's no world behind the chasm. So that's a wonderful advice for all, especially for all the young folk out there. We want to change the world. This is one change that the Swamiji is talking about. Now we open it to the audience for any questions.
Swamiji, I have a question. During this conference, a lot of venture capitalists and CEOs, they all came here, and we had attached volunteers from our university, from the school. They are all giving the feedback. They are not only getting very good education, they are getting discipline, culture. How all this transformation is happening, they were getting amazed. My question to you, Swami, now we are celebrating the Startup Festival, and everybody is now talking about they are going valuation based, there is no values and all that. Is there any possibility in your institution to demonstrate whatever you have done for your students, bring such startups here, use your network and make them not only successful in terms of creating value, wealth, at the same time creating the values within them. Maybe others may follow once we create that role models. Today, unfortunately, there are not many role models. Everybody is going after the money because those role models are more, and because everybody is following them. So is there any possibility that under your guidance, create those role models like what you have done for the students in the university and the colleges, Swami?
Yeah, I think he's talking about an environment that has to be created, an ecosystem here where there is a possibility of mentoring young business minds in ethical, moral ways of doing business, bringing that necessary discipline, individual as well as financial and things like that. I think we are open to that idea. We have not entered, we don't have a business school here, but there is a possibility. I think a lot of business is common sense according to me. So if we have plenty of it here, so we might be able to work with some of your groups. Some of the companies can be incubated. I saw some of them like Gossip Corner, a very wonderful initiative according to me. Again, it's not about valuation so much as it's creating the real value in the society. We also have set up an incubation center in the university, under the university's aegis. Mr. Prahlad is a part of it. It's an innovation incubation center, and people like Professor Kasturi Rangan and all have lent their names and time for it. And we also have a small 50,000 rupees grant for anybody who comes up with an idea which solves a rural problem. So we are not looking at urban issues, we are primarily looking at rural issues, and we have opened that to everyone. It is with the National Institute of Innovation, Delhi. We are working with them. So this is already happening. But we were only thinking from the point of view of problem solving, not really creating a company with great profitability and things like that. Of course, we can work with you, and all of us can think of some of these possibilities in this place also. And as I told you, this is not a Silicon Valley, but this can be a golden valley where golden ideas can come out and they can do good to the world.
Swamiji, see, in most of the countries, developed countries, the endowments which actually helps the maintenance, because you are creating so many free hospitals, so many universities. These startup companies, they become successful if they can give part of the equity to the institution. Maybe when they become big, probably that also can add to the corpus of the institution, so that at least some portion of the maintenance also can be taken care of.
I think it's a wonderful idea. Many companies do that. In the recent case of Patagonia, where they transferred, or the family transferred all the shares to a foundation which is for climate change. So they said, Earth is our partner, Earth is our shareholder now. It's a wonderful idea, I think. I'm not saying you have to give away all your company to any foundation, but a part of it definitely, if you go by Chanakya Niti, a quarter of all your earnings must go for societal welfare. That was the rule. So many people ask me, how much should we think of? So India has moved forward, said CSR, and 2% of your profits should be given for a CSR activity. In any which ways, start somewhere, I would say. Even 1% of your company's equity is lying with some foundation somewhere, which is doing real work, you know. A lot of foundations in America, I have personally been a witness to. Sorry to take the name, but US is the place where the biggest number of foundations are, the very large foundations. They have huge endowment funds managed by great investment bankers and fund managers. All they do is, for 100 million endowment, they grow it by 6-7% next year, and out of that 6-7% of the growth, they pull out a tiny minuscule portion after paying all their CEOs and their salaries and the investment bankers their commissions and cuts. A small portion is invested into the real work in the society, and most of the funds keep growing and growing, and they take pride in telling that their funds are growing. I was thinking, if it was with me, I would have spent it yesterday. But having said that, we have thought about this long and hard, whether we should have a huge endowment corpus. Many people said, have it because it will help you. But I do not want to do it, because endowment corpuses will make us lazy, will limit our imagination, restrict our work, and also make the next generation very, very, as I said, complacent. So I always want to run the institutions cut-to-cut basis, you know. Money comes, money goes, and nothing stays here, because the moment money starts staying in the foundations, it will corrupt everyone. So we always will remain like this. We will never have endowment corpus. And if somebody has the courage and the conviction to run these institutions, they are most welcome to join our board.
Anyone else, please? We have time for one more question.
Very good evening, Guruji. Navneethan here. It's my pleasure and honor to be, seeing you and then talking to you. It's a couple of things on the global side, actually, where we are talking about calm, relax, and peace. peace, across the world. And also like you, and then where it's a lot of positivity to spreading, and then where we are seeing a lot of negativity. But on the other side, across the world, maybe we can take Russia, and then Ukraine, China, and then US. It's a lot of Cold War as well as a lot of accusation in terms of getting into the other country, and where we are going to letting go there actually. I mean, one side is a peace, other side is a war, but indirectly as a layman, just we are getting affected. So love to hear your thought, like how we are going to getting awards.
So the thing is that world has always been dealing with these situations. It was never a peaceful place. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Dukkhalayam it is, full of misery. So you don't expect the world to be ever full of peace. Complete world peace is never achieved and will never be achieved. So let us not create a euphoric idea that we will always have peace everywhere. There will be wars somewhere or the other, small or big. At the same time, like tongue between the teeth, we must learn to live. The rest of the world, when the majority is doing good, the minority cannot do much damage. But when majority is strayed away from the righteous path, then the minority suffers. So my whole idea is that change as many people as possible to do good. Large number of companies, large number of individuals means large number of families. Large number of families means large number of communities. Large number of communities means large number of nations. And that is how you tilt the balance towards doing good. Automatically minority ideas will come under pressure. The wars will come under pressure. But today what is happening? There is not so much of goodness to tilt the balance to this side. People are neither saying yes nor no to the war. As long as we survive, we are not bothered about what's happening across the border. That is a wrong idea, because sooner or later that trouble will come to our doorstep as well. So we want to create more good people in the world so that more people think, the majority of the world thinks in a good way. These minority issues is something that we'll have to deal with all through our lives. This is something which is inevitable. But we can live a better life if most of us do good. That is the idea. Most nations think about peace, think about prosperity, progress, harmony. Then I think a few warring nations will not find much place in the world, not for too long.
One last question, please, because we are seriously short of time.
So,
Swamiji, thank you so much for answering.
Please accept my pranam. I'm amazed by what I have seen you and hearing you, the environment here, your students with Mr. Chaudhary. But what I'm surprised is a lot of us, we have been talking and we are very near to this place, in Bangalore. But a lot of us have heard about Satya Sai Institute, we know about, but we have not heard about you and the great work which is happening here. So I just want to know, how, maybe it's maybe our fault that we have not heard about it, but if there is a lot more communication on this, probably it will help us and many like us to get involved and probably help the good work.
Thank you. It's nice to know that you feel that you should know about institutions like us. It's important for us too. Why we haven't been so vocal and we have been communicating about us so far is because I thought I will take at least 10 years to prove our concept. A lot of people didn't believe when we said we want to run free universities, free hospitals. They thought this is not going to survive. In 2 or 3 years they will be gone. But now we have stood the test of time for almost a decade. We have scaled, we have sustained, and definitely nobody can simply question us. So now this is the first such event where we have invited so many people like you to know us, to participate and to join us, because now we are very confident about what we have done for the 10 years. And we know that it is scalable, it is sustainable, and we will be able to answer any question that may come from anywhere about our institution. So that confidence is something that we built in the last 10 years, and now it's time to tell about it to the world. And now this is the very first such event where all of you have come. So we are very grateful that you have found time to come and share this with us.
So I have a small request, sir. I have a small request. Swamiji can continue answering questions, but I have to leave. So it's a bit unfortunate that I have to leave. So Swamiji, with your blessings, I would like to leave. Chaudhary, sir.
I think Mr. Chaudhary is taking over from you.
Oh, please, please.
I have an easier question. Thank you very much. Yeah. Thank you. Please come again.
Thank you, Mr. Prahlad. Wonderful interaction and very good questions, thought-provoking questions. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Swamiji, pranam. I have a question. I think Mr. Prahlad raised a very, very basic debate which rages all over the world, valuation versus values. And I think you summarized it nicely. One point that occurs to me is, if you look at India, in the last 2 or 3 decades, the joint family system has broken up, urbanization has taken place. So the old values which our parents and grandparents used to give us is not inputted to this generation. So one idea was, if you do a study, 90% of the entrepreneurs or startups are from IITs and IIMs. If we, under your guidance, could run some programs on values, the Bhagavad Gita, Karma Yoga, how these are effective tools of management, then probably before they become startups itself, he was talking about the huge differential between CEOs' salaries. I wrote a piece about gig workers, the horrible, and that made an impact in Delhi, and they framed rules for gig workers, or these delivery boys, as you call. So whether some education or moral education in IITs and IIMs by you people under your guidance may instill values in addition to valuation.
Very valid suggestion, Mr. Vijay. Since we had not reached out to any institutions so far, we have been mostly operating within our own institutions. And first we want to prove that this works even at a higher education level. And proof of the pudding is in tasting. You have seen our university students, the way they behave, the concepts, their clarity in life about why they are studying, what they want to do. This is something that has to be built in all institutions, and not at the IIM level really, but actually it should start from the schooling level, because that's when the impressions are formed. So IIT is the last stage of education, is definitely something before the water goes into the sea. You must at least save them somewhere. So we are coming up with a very good higher education value program. And first step that we have taken is that under our university we have an Institute of Human Values. It's a free course, and there is a course called Dharmic Management. It has a lot of case studies written by Professor Anantaraman, who is one of the, he's a lecturer at ISB, some IIMs, as well as in Harvard. So he has written that course. I would suggest that if you have time, please share it with others. Institute of Human Values under our university. It's a free course. It's an online course. You read a chapter, you answer questions. Only when you get it right that the next chapter opens. So it's an inbuilt system. But this is the beginning of it. However, the whole of the country and the world needs a very strong value-based curriculum at especially college, university level, because that is the last stage after which we will never have these people back in our classrooms. They will be in the world and they will influence the whole world. So we are working towards that, and I look forward to some of you who have been through the ups and downs and, as they say, the good and bad of life, to please come together and help us design a syllabus, design a curriculum. And of course, as always, it will be free, it will be available to everyone, and we can have lectures across. And with this digital education possible, people can join in from around the world to study these things. And if some of you can share your experiences, this is the Institute of Human Values program. So if some of you can share your real experiences, life's experiences, and not some imaginary case studies, I think that will go a long way in shaping the minds of our younger generation and creating a better moral and ethical business environment for all businesses to thrive. We will work on that. Thank you.
Swamiji, I have a question.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Ashwindar.
Swamiji, I bow down to you. I come from an army background and I have lived in many cantonment areas. How is it that when I enter the ashram, I see that kind of impeccable discipline across every role, across every function, whether I'm talking to a student in their behavior, in their gravitas, in their humility, in the way they acknowledge and respect to a senior most person, whether that person is, a CFO or holding a very senior position within the ashram and other important institutions like the hospitals and the charitable trust, what is it that in a country which is so disorganized, how have you been able to imbibe so much of organization skill and discipline? Because it looks like an oasis, it looks like, you have moved from India to Denmark. As far as the discipline is concerned, the ethos are concerned, the values are concerned. And that is what I take away every time when I come here and I'm able to share it with my children. So I just wanted to know that.
You're asking me for that secret ingredient in our system. And it's an open secret though. It's simply because they do it from the source, not by force. Army is by force most of the time, They're forced to follow a certain way of life because they are part of the army, which is important. But here, most of the time we tell children why they should be good, why they should be disciplined, how are they going to benefit out of it. And a key reason why they do it is because they love God. We tell God will be pleased with you if you behave in a good way, and He will bless you, because of which you will prosper in life too. Devotion is the core of our institution's value system, and that is something which most of the schools don't talk about because they're as I said, secular and things like that. And this is something, unless we bring this ancient Indian value of devotion to a supreme being who is watching over you wherever you are. Children are disciplined when you are watching them. Army people are disciplined when the major is watching them. But these children have to be disciplined even when nobody is watching them. That is the discipline from source. And we tell them that even if nobody is watching you, God is watching you. So for that sake, always behave well, because you are being watched. And if you behave well, what do you get out of it? You will become a better boy or a better girl. Your focus and concentration will increase. You will become better at your studies and everything that you do, and God's grace will be with you. This is something that our children had taken it very seriously. And also the institution's heads, they are also very disciplined and cultured. So it is like it has percolated down to the last child from the top. So I think the top has to follow the culture, and it automatically, the culture is, you have to wear it on your sleeves, as they say. When they see you behaving in a certain way, they also learn. Children follow you. They don't learn by seeing or listening to you, but they learn by seeing you. So all the elders here have developed this culture of discipline, humility, compassion and kindness from decades. It's not new thing. But largely it has happened only because of devotion to a higher being whom they are always trying to please. That's what Bhagavad Gita says. Whatever you do, do it for my sake, Krishna says. Don't do it for the sake of pleasing your teacher or a major or somebody, or impress somebody, or avoid a punishment. These are all very flimsy reasons why we should behave well. Such a society which is behaving well under force will stop behaving well when the force is removed. So something that has to come from within, and that is something that we have inculcated in our people from decades, not from today. It's been the culture for a long time, and it has just percolated into the next generation and the next generation, so they look at each other and follow it. But having said that, as the institution leadership, we are very particular about it, and if we see a deviation or aberration from there, we can leave all the work aside, but we first go and correct that, because we think if culture of the institution dies, the institution dies. So everything else goes aside. We go and correct any situation where we find an aberration or a deviation, which I don't think most of the institutions look into.
Swamiji, I have a question related to NGO. You run a very, very efficient NGO. Today in India and in globally, huge big problem is retention of the members. A lot of R&D is being happening in the country, happening globally, but not able to control the drops of the members. What is the secret behind your running an NGO? Is there any spiritual focus that you induct and infuse into that? If that is so, why can't that be spread into the national NGOs and global problems as well?
NGOs by very definition are driven by a certain purpose, passion to do good. So as long as we have a shared vision, I don't think anybody wants to leave, whether it's an NGO or whether it's a government organization or whether it's a corporate. When every employee shares the vision and finds that he has or she has a place in the whole system, nobody wants to leave. But if you make money as the motivation or such other things as a motivation, then you will lose your employees in no time, because money can change hands and people can pay you more or less. So that should not be the reason why our employees should be with us. They should share our passion, they should share our vision, they should feel that their purpose of life is also aligned to the purpose of the institution. And that is something it is being done. From the spiritual point of view, yes, all our service emanates from spirituality. We talk about oneness of everyone. We believe the same divine consciousness is in all. And therefore, whomever we help ourselves only in some way. And that is fully kind of accepted and assimilated by everybody in our organization. Why can't it be done for other NGOs? There are certain NGOs which believe in spirituality, but certain NGOs want to maintain a very secular status. In fact, we have this dilemma. Many times when we apply for CSR grants to many companies, they simply say, oh, you're a religious organization, we can't work with you. I tell them, we are not a religious organization, we are a spiritual organization. But they can't find the difference between the two, because they think they follow a certain god or a cult and things like that, and they decline our CSR despite being such efficient NGOs, because they don't want to learn about us, they don't want to get into the details. They simply want to keep a distance from such places. So most of the NGOs are scared of being branded as a religious or a spiritual entity, and therefore they stay away from these concepts, which is no good. But we, as I said, we wear it on our sleeves. We say, this is what we are. Like it, take it. Don't like it, leave it. But we are not going to change our ways. Now, how many NGOs can stay true to their purpose like this and be courageous enough to decline a CSR grant or to decline a donation because we do not want to change our ways? So this is something that is to come with leadership, I think, of the NGOs. And if the leadership believes in certain value systems which are not compromised, I think all NGOs can run like us very, very efficiently. But these are the two reasons. One, we never compromise on our value system. What we believe in, come what may. Two, our people share the vision. Each one of them shares the vision and feels their life's purpose is being fulfilled through the organization. So they don't want to leave.
If there are no questions from last question.
Yes, thank you so much, Swamiji. I'm a very young person. I'm 30 years old, but and that's the reason why I need a little guidance from your side. So I have been at many leadership positions in the organization that I am representing today, and I have created a lot of value, and I can feel that I am a bit valuable, right, in some way or the other. But I'm not being able to release this very uncomfortable tension inside me. I always feel to share my value with people. So is there any easy way of doing it, or maybe a very effective way of doing it, number one? And number two, there are many people in the team who are gaining values at each point of time. Maybe someone is creating an Excel sheet or writing a formula in that. They're creating value over there. So if they share that information with their peers or their friends, I mean, that's what a society is made of, right? And we learn something, we teach them the same thing. So how do I make my intention to share this value across?
I think you have to live the value despite whatever it takes. Unless you are the living very personification of the value system, your people are not going to pick it up from you. You can't talk the values. If you do the same thing, your people will follow, provided you have actually picked up right kind of people. You've not picked up people who are very selfish, ambitious people, very selfish, very self-centric, then the organization will get destroyed sooner or later. But if you have picked your people right, and if you follow the value system without any fear, without any hesitation, it will simply rub on to everybody in the organization. I think you should be confident about whatever values you think you should follow. Whether people like it or don't like it, doesn't matter. I always say, if people leave you because of who you are, it's good riddance. Because they were anyway going to be an obstruction in your way. And good people will come look for them. I'm going to give this opportunity to Dr. Ravinath. I think he was waiting for a question.
Swamiji, pranam. I think I promoted global hospitals built in Hyderabad, Bangalore, Chennai and Mumbai, the tertiary care transplant hospital group. I have to say that your model is unparalleled in this world. 20,000 cardiac surgeries for children, free medical college, free hospital, free education is unparalleled. I know I've worked around the world. The best universities in America, they're all foundations, but they all charge patients or students. Though they have a huge endowment coming in as royalty from innovations, I think your model is a great model. I think this should be studied as a case study, and so that it can be a ignition for others to do similar thing. Our country needs institutions like this to change the whole culture and value system. And I really commend your great work and pranams. And one thing I would like to say is this model has to be replicated in this country. We are a 1.4 billion population, and it's very important. We are doing now a health, life sciences, technology, university, not-for-profit. Again, we are all contributing and raising about $100 million and creating it. We are finding it is so expensive to create something what you have created, and I'm just out of admiration I want to tell, this is a great model, and we are really blessed to have someone like you as a leadership in building this kind of institution. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Somebody like you who has built the global group, saying these things is really valuable to us, and we are very thankful for your insights, and we look forward to working with you as partners in this work so that it spreads to more places.
Thank you, Swamiji. We are blessed.
Thank you.
Maybe last question, Swamiji.
Swami, my pranams at your lotus feet. I have one question. You said that
take it closer.
Just take how much is enough and not more. We have Mr. Velumani here, who is a shining example, who has not taken any funding at all and built a very large organization and serving the community. How do you know how much is enough? Because every time an investor comes to you, he says, take it for a period of time so that you don't have to go back to your funding rounds again, right? So how do you decide how much is enough?
Ask Velumani. But yes, I think he built an organization to bring these services at a very low cost. I think to make many people benefit. That was the model, I believe.
Thank you. Since he took my name, I came here. My name itself is Value Money. Yeah. How much is enough is very tough question. How much do you need is another question. You must know how much you need. If you need only for your needs, it's very little. But if you have greed, you need too much. But at the same time, if you want enough to impress your neighbor, you can never. So these are the criteria or parameter. I think frugality is a word. Frugality says you are not miser, you wisely spend. So if you are frugal, even a crore is too much. Having said that, I must give you one punchline here. Just because you are rich, you can't have second dinner. So you don't ever try to, put too much. You know, one more way of putting at it, the closing balance at the date of your death is an unnecessary work you have done. So make sure you make money, don't consume, pass it on to whoever deserves it, and you should not deserve, only your children deserve it, you should not think, pass it on. Having said that, I have exited the company. At some point of time I realized one more zero is not going to make much difference, number one. And then my children told me, Dad, you put all your money into stock. Put all that dividend which comes into a fixed deposit, take that interest, you may not be able to consume. So the power of a man is as least as he consumes. Don't want to take too much of time, but let me give one punchline. Consumers cannot create. Hello? Consumers cannot create. So creators should not consume. So this is the powerful way of looking at it. Having said that, I once again have got an opportunity to tell one more punchline. Since you have only asked, you need to answer me. Honey is collected by honeybee. Yes? Honey is collected by honeybee. Money is collected by moneybee. If honeybee falls in honey, it dies. So is moneybee. Be careful. Thank you.
I think I have to thank him for answering on my behalf. And Mr. Velumani is a wonderful man and a great idea. He is coming with something very wonderful on a national level. He sent me an email with such clarity, and I am very much enamored by the idea of Mr. Velumani about taking it at a national level, training nurses, training paramedics, simple procedures, diagnostics, so that we can get into preventive health care and avoid the disease burden in the country. So wonderful idea is working on, and I wish him all the success, and he's working alongside our hospital and medical school, so that's a greater pride for all of us.
Swamiji, can we take one last question?
Namaskaram, Swamiji.
This is the last question. Yeah. This is the last question.
So we are 4 friends who have started startup at the same time, actually with great ideas. So in the first year, the other 3 people have spoken about artificial intelligence and valuation and lot about it. And after 3 years, I was the only person who was actually looking at the startup. The other 3, they're no more doing the startup. So do you know what happened to them? They're just married. And after that, when I asked them, why are you not, focusing on your idea, and why are you not giving time to this your startup company? They say that we don't find enough time after getting married. So, do you think marriage is a barrier or it is a roadblock?
I wish you had married your startup partner.
I'm not married yet. I'm not married yet, so.
No, I don't think anything comes in the way of the one who really wants to do it. Where there is will, there is way. So, but yes, of course, at a young age, people do want to have other things also going, and you can marry, you can start a company anytime, but you can't marry anytime. So I think most people want to marry at the right time, the right decision too. At the same time, I think if there is a strong will, you will find a way. You will find a way to do what you want to do. And that determination is one of the key qualities of an entrepreneur. So I think you should carry on with your idea. You must fight for it and don't give it up. Yeah, that's
Swamiji, thank you so much for very valuable clarifications. I have one doubt. Being a spiritual guru, the way you are talking, giving answers like a businessman, like an entrepreneur, are you reading the books of entrepreneurship or reading the people? How you are able to update your knowledge, and what is the secret of that?
No, I'm an MBA basically, and I have already, I'm a gold medalist in MBA, so you can imagine. So I read a lot. And now reading is so easy, because earlier when I was traveling it was difficult to keep up with things, but I keep reading. And why do I read? Not because I want to start a company, but I want to ensure that whoever is starting the company is doing it right and it is not damaging or destroying the society. At the same time, starting with an idea that they can contribute back to charities like us, which are implementing these great projects at the grassroots level, so they can become our partners. That is the idea. But having said that, running an organization, especially from the leadership or management position, you have to be aware of everything. You have to be aware of politics, geopolitics, you have to be aware of finances, you have to be aware of depreciating rupee, you have to be aware of Ukraine-Russia wars, and so also this whole farce of startup ecosystem. The way it's going, it really scares me. I met some policymakers and told, please come up with some stringent and strong policies on startups, because the way valuation game is being played, it's not going to be good for the country, for the economy. In the short run run it may look good, but in the long run it will become very, very detrimental to our economic prospects. So I do read a lot, and that is why I know all this. And this is nothing to do with any spiritual powers. It's plain reading and keeping yourself updated.
Thank you so much, Swamiji. So I request all of you to give a standing ovation to Swamiji for the excellent answers.
I think this will be probably the last word for this evening. I am looking forward to you all as partners in this process of making a difference to the world. I do not see you as donors. I do not see you as entrepreneurs. I do not see you as businessmen. I do not see you as very capable, intelligent minds. I only see you as another human who is an integral part of this society that we all live in. And I feel that we all have to share this responsibility of building a better society for us to live in and a better future for our children to live in. And I welcome you all to be a part of this change-making process. And we all are in it. And nobody is greater, nobody is smaller. I truly appreciate your partnership and participation. And definitely Mr. Chaudhary will reach out to all of you to find nobler ways of associating with this organization and doing a little more than what is our might. I leave you with the last thought from Mahatma Gandhi ji, being the eve of 2nd October. He said, what we do and what we are capable of doing, the difference between the two would suffice to solve most of the world's problems. We do something, but we are capable of doing much more. Let us push ourselves to do that more, and I'm sure we can solve all the world's problems. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. With this, we will conclude this segment. We're going to take a 30-minute break and maybe request everyone to kindly enjoy your coffee and tea. And we're going to come back for the most awaited segment for today, which is going to be the symphony orchestra by the students of this institution. Children from age 13 to 19 will be performing very shortly. I'd like to hand over the mic to Mr. Raja, and he'd like to make an announcement as well. Thank you very much.
Good evening, everyone. Can I have your attention, please? I'm going to call a few names, and I would please request all of you, without the footwear, to come to the backstage. Mr. Shiv Kumar, Mr. Ramani Iyer, the backstage, please. Mr. Satish Andhra, Dr. Ravindranath Chaudhary, Mr. Hitesh Sachdev, Mr. Ramesh Kaza, Mr. Ujjwal Mukhia, Mr. Vinny Patra, Mr. Dinanath, Professor Nagbhushan Raju, Ms. Neera Inamdar, Mr. Puru Modani, Mr. Manoj Agarwal, Dr. Rajshekhar Reddy, Mr. Ashwinder Singh, Mr. Rishabh, Mr. Ram Kumar, Native Araku Coffee, Mr. Navneetan, Dr. Ram, Mr. Pravakar, Mr. N.T. Chaudhary, Professor V.S. Rao, Ms. Kavita Rajesh, Mr. V. Raghunathan, Mr. Madan Patki, Mr. O.S.S. Prasad, Ms. Jyoti Pahad Singh, Mr. Dr. Ramakant Desai, Mr. Bhanu Reddy, Mrs. Sundari, Mr. Shivakumar Gunturu, Dr. Chintala, Mr. Ravi Bhamadipati. Please, if you can, without your footwear, please, if you can come to the backstage. Dr. Chintala, sir, backstage. So we will leave immediately.